Welcome.
So
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to start a podcast, but it's the Police Talk podcast with
Try 47.
I want candy. Bah, 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 bah. Aaron Carter got engaged.
What to who?
Oh, wow.
Who would marry him?
The girl that
fucking
Keegan informed me
emotionally
of this
unstable.
actually, which is pretty insane.
Wait,
but
Keegan brought Aaron Carter news to the podcast?
So,
I started the conversation.
because I started looking up random things about Aaron Carter when I was making that intro, which you guys might have to bring up for this. Google decided to start showing me Aaron Carter news, and
Oh,
so
you
I'm
fucked
just
yourself.
I'm force fed
Oh, no.
random information about Aaron Carter. So
So
Thanks, Google.
Aaron Carter had a girlfriend,
Who?
and then she
though?
got pregnant. I don't know what's her.
I think her name's like Melanie or something like that,
Just
Of
some,
course
like-
it's Melanie.
Some
or
average.
Melissa or M something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Melanie Martin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
She's a person.
alliteration.
Yeah.
Well,
That sounds famous.
Yeah, she's
Does
a
it?
Marvel character.
Yeah.
wait,
No.
for real?
No.
Oh.
No, I think anytime
Jesus.
somebody's name has alliteration in it, it just triggers something in your brain where you're like, yeah.
You're a
Peter
superhero.
Parker, Bruce Banner.
Oh, see,
It's
I
a-
guess I didn't know what
yeah.
that fucking
It's a
word meant.
literary device to trick you into thinking it's cooler than maybe it is.
Our guest today
Do
is a
you-
wordsmith.
Do you work in a library?
Our guest today works in not just any library, a prison library.
Best kind,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Are you allowed to say, like, what prison library it is? Or are we going to keep that vague?
Probably should keep it.
Yeah. Probably keep it vague, just because who knows what crazy things will slip out of my
True.
mouth.
Or ours.
But we can. It's in the state of Oregon,
Okay.
the institution
The
What
that
kind
I
of books
work
do
at.
prisoners read?
Um,
Mainly the
art
Bible.
of war.
actually, graphic novels and manga
Fucking nerds.
and
This is why you're in here.
teen literature is actually
Like
really
adults,
popular.
Adults read teen
Like
literature.
Is it-
young? It's called technically the genre is young adult, but it is typically geared towards teens. But I think it's popular because it's like the plots are usually pretty fantastical, but they are easy to digest. It's nothing too difficult. The relationships are usually easy to identify with. I think there are a lot of adults that find it fun to read, and they're quick and easy. The language is sometimes not as highbrow as adult
So
fiction.
safe to say none of them are checking out the Grapes of Wrath and bringing it back to their fucking cell.
Probably not as many as
Okay.
are checking out Black Butler and all of those.
Ooh, that's a great porn, by the way.
What? Wait, I'm gonna show my stupidity here. Is Black Butler a famous book?
Manga? It's manga.
Oh.
Chiz. Show my
It's
stupidity
a type
here
of-
too.
Yeah.
It is a type
type of
of
sushi.
graphic. It's a type of graphic novel.
Oh.
That's
Um,
what anime is based on.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the-
they're periodical
Their
in
print equivalent.
yeah,
It's a Japanese comic book.
basically. But
Sick.
You read it
But theirs are
backwards.
way too thick. Way too thick.
Yeah.
Like, make it 10 pages.
I
make
mean,
it
they could
colorful.
go on for years.
Yeah, and they're about, like, literally everything.
Is
Yeah,
Death
like-
Note considered?
It
was
has a
origin-
manga, yeah.
Yeah,
it
it
was
has a-
originally. All of those were.
Yeah.
Like
Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon Ball
everything.
Z,
Yeah,
I think pretty much everything that's been an anime was at one point.
yeah.
probably
I don't know if
Yeah, it's-
Fruits Basket was that ever an
not
an
familiar
anime.
with it.
We're
But
not
it-
experts.
It is extremely long manga, like to the point where like I have a hard time replacing like the earlier volumes now. Like they're out of print,
Wow.
but it's gone on forever. I mean, they're like hundreds.
So is it like also part of your job to like maintain what books are coming into the library?
So most of my job is actually the way the library is set up is there's actually a law library side and a general library side. The position does require like a library science degree, but I spend very little time managing the general library stuff. Like they have a system and it pretty well
Sorry
works.
to interrupt, but
yes.
library science?
Yes, I am a master of library and information science. You may call me
Dewey.
Master Talley.
So you're like,
Call her
okay.
Dewey.
Library science just
I would
seems like,
prefer not.
hey, the books are getting,
misogynist.
like, hey, you're getting the books wet. Stop. You know, like, what kind of science are we doing in a fucking library?
Master
I mean,
Dewey.
realistically.
Yeah, I mean, the really boring kind, the like research kind.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't manage what they do on the general side as much. And it's all run on donations. So, I mean, those books are being held together by tape and cardboard.
Semen.
Yeah, well,
Are they allowed to take the books back to their penthouses, or are they?
they are.
Houses.
They're allowed a maximum of 5. And yeah, they put in a request in writing, and then if we have it available, I schedule a call out, and they're allowed to come up to the library and take their things with them.
You're on the loudspeaker. Jerry, return Black Butler, please.
No, I just send a really strong, like, okay, there's this stigma about like libraries and fines. You know, everybody's just like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
they're gonna be so mean to me. They
I mean,
gotta
it's safe to
return
say these guys
books."
aren't worried
Yeah,
about
I was gonna say, how does the fine
They
work? in
aren't,
prison?
but it was something that was so terrifying, and it was a stigma with public libraries for so long. They've started dropping fines, and they were trying to find nice ways of saying, like, we really would just like our materials to come back.
Right.
Please.
They're like, hey, he's in here for stealing TVs. Guys, let's be realistic.
Yeah, so the prison version of that is you will return this right now, or you're in violation of, and it just like, it is the most strongly written,
So you get your bucks back.
like,
She's like, it doesn't always work.
Wait, you're saying
debatable.
habitual rule breakers are still breaking rules after they're fucking locked up?
Weird.
Yeah.
But they come back sometimes. And sometimes stuff goes missing, just like it does in a normal library. They transfer somebody. They raided their cell, and it got lost between cleaning out the cell and things going to property control before they trickle back to the library.
Have you ever got one of those books back where someone like cut the pages out and they put like a secret thing in there, like a joint?
I haven't
bomb?
I haven't found one yet, but they have a whole bunch of them. So when you go through training, they have a whole bunch of contraband and show you how they hide things. Nothing makes you feel worse about your position than going through training with a bunch of other people. You're the only librarian, and they pull out like a couple boxes of library books, and they're like, yeah, look at all this stuff they're hiding in there. And I'm like, well, I'm just so excited to go to work
What
and
kind of stuff?
have to worry about finding razor blades and library books. Yeah, like usually they're using it to pass porn.
Fucking A.
You
can't even
you don't
be mad
rent
at
them
that.
porn? There's no outlet for that in
There
your library?
is. There
What?
is.
Okay.
So there is. They're allowed certain kinds of porn, and
Like Cinemax, like the softcore, like
it has to. It can't
over-the-pants
like.
jerk.
There's no penetration. They can't have anything that shows
Oh
penetration.
no, there's penetration in jail. It's just not in the books.
They just can't read about it.
The thing,
Yeah.
yeah, the things that
You
would
can
be.
do it.
You read about it.
There's a lot of hand.
Keep that in the
holding.
shower.
Oh man.
So it's softcore.
It is, yeah. You like, it's basically just nudie pics. You're allowed nudie pics, but you know, obviously nothing with children, nothing that
Well,
hints at
I
violence,
think that goes without
penetration.
saying.
Well, but they
Very well.
Yeah.
they get they get
Keeps running
by-
out the naked baby fucking
It
book.
makes us all really uncomfortable. But, instead, you get women that dress like young girls, and that's allowed in. I think it makes people feel uncomfortable because I feel like it's still kind of it's a gray line, but I mean,
Whatever gets your
they're-
rocks off, I guess.
and I mean they're locked up.
Yeah.
Their rights have been taken away. You only have so many outlets, and it's not like it's a fun place to be. It's a stressful place to be. So
I've heard.
whatever you've heard.
I've heard.
It's not great on the human psyche. So if you were potentially broken before you came in, there's a chance that
Now, are you talking about libraries in general or prison?
prison.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that was my
I mean-
experience with libraries in general, but prison
Yeah.
also, yes.
You know, they are similar in some way.
Like everyone in here reads better than me.
There
They're
are
looking
rules.
at me.
They know.
They know.
No.
I'm just in here to play video games on your computers. Nothing to do with books. My experience with libraries was like, they have computers in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you can use them to like find books. I'm like, why would I do that? I'm gonna install
I'm
games on
obviously going to come here and play all these games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find the one German website that has video games on it that I can play.
Yeah, they're
that
like, you
bypasses all your blockers.
Yeah, you
So
can rent this out in 15-minute increments. I'm like, I was trying to rent it out for like 8.5 hours and bring food. Is that okay? Oh, absolutely not. Like, oh, well, I'm currently doing that. So
Yeah.
Get chips
guess
in
I'm
the
leaving,
keyboard
yeah.
and
True. Well, some libraries are cool. They've changed the rules. They're like, oh, you're going to be here all day. Cool. Yeah, bring some snacks. Just make sure your drink has a lid.
dude, imagine the PTSD you give people who like went to prison because they did something in a library and then they go to prison and then there's a library,
library
there.
there.
And like, fuck, I can't escape.
Yeah. That would,
And
I
they just
mean,
do the same thing in prison in your library and it's just this vicious cycle.
that would be
library crime.
brutal.
Yeah, exactly. Library crime is yeah. It's a real thing.
like-
It's
it's
just
a- it's
it
a
goes
big
without
deal.
notice.
heard some
Okay.
weird library stories.
Yeah.
Like
We-
regular
Okay, but let's go around
library
the circle. What's the
stories.
weirdest thing you've ever done in a library? And be honest, because I know I've a fucking one that will be like.
The weirdest thing I've ever done in a library, or ever seen done in a library.
Okay, scene.
That's
I watched a girl shoot a ping pong
experience.
ball out of her vagina inside of a library in Sandpoint.
Cool,
Like-
cool.
In the library.
Put a ping pong
or,
ball in her vagina,
like-
laid on her back, and shot it over a table.
Like in the library.
Inside the library.
Or like
Into-
watching on a computer.
No,
in
we
the
were in a library, and another
That-
human with arms and
Okay.
legs shoved a ping pong ball inside of her vagina and shot it over a table because no one believed she could do it.
Was this in high school or?
This was in high school. This was in Sandpoint. Yeah.
Wow. I can't top that.
God,
I just saw a
hope a
guy like
Sandpoint
fooling around
librarian
with
hears
himself. So that's
Yeah.
probably really
What was
common.
most alarming is that she just had a ping pong ball with her.
Oh,
That's
I'm like,
also
what are
a
you like a
problem.
fucking? This is like a
That's
parlor
an
trick.
issue.
Obviously, you keep ping pong balls on.
yeah,
like it's an
definitely. 'Cause
icebreaker.
she talks about it,
Yeah.
and then people don't believe her, so she's got to prove it.
Oh yeah, and we
Yeah.
were like, that's not possible. You can't generate that much force. And she's like,
Over a table,
over a table.
and
Like,
those library tables are pretty big.
they were
in
tall.
Yeah,
We're
Sandpoint.
sitting on the
see,
other
this
end of
is
the table.
also
She lays
the
down and goes, book up. And
length
we're like,
how
"No,
I
never
I
gonna
was
touch that
struck
ping
on. I
pong
was
ball."
like, that is
Length
Like-
or width wise.
diagonalish. She was kind of in a corner so as not to be seen.
Not the greatest accuracy. Got distance.
No,
but
yeah,
it's
no.
not.
Not
Can't
good for
imagine.
DPS. More of like a distraction.
interesting.
More football reference, but
Yeah.
you can
I'm
go
gonna
DP.
pretend. I'm gonna pretend like I
Terrible DPS.
understand it.
Slimy ping pong ball damage. Like
As you're talking about nerds in
Yeah.
jail. And you- good.
nobody else
God
has weird
almighty.
library stories. You guys never did any weird
No.
shit. You never smoked
just-
a book.
Nah,
Spent like quality
Smoked a
time at the
book.
library.
Smoked a book.
I mean, I played video games, and then like a couple times somebody had porn on because they managed to find a porn
Wow.
website.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, nothing crazy. Nah.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen working at a library?
Yikes.
You've worked at a lot
That
of libraries.
specific library, I would imagine, is going to be.
Well, actually, I mean, there's so many rules governing this one. Like, I haven't really seen anything crazy.
Do they say? Do they come
Yeah.
in and like say just the most depraved shit to you because it's like
No. So, like, by law, Oregon's required to provide access to the courts and to the materials.
right like the
For-
law library.
Yeah, and so it's a right, but we're not necessarily required to let them like use the computers for word processing or let them come in and talk to legal assistants and stuff. Like I could provide access and to them in their cells in other ways. So being up there is a privilege, and I am the gatekeeper. I decide who comes up, when they come up, how much time they have, and whether or not what they're working on is valid. And I have all of their information. So if I think somebody's full of it, I have access to look up your stuff in the court system, to make phone calls and, and call you on it. So for the most part, I am treated with some modicum of respect. Nobody says anything inappropriate. And if they were to say anything sexual or inappropriate or anything in that way, like they're going to segregation for a very long time. They get everything taken away from them.
You're like the principal of the jail.
You go into the
Yeah.
hole, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Some prison something for you. Yeah, you go the hole for a while, and you lose stuff. You lose your property. You lose your status. Like they have jobs in there. Like you go in there, and there's a good chance you're going to come back out, and you're not going to have a job, and then you have to work your way back up from the bottom. Like the consequences are usually pretty high, and I would say 90% of those guys are like they're trying. Like Oregon's focused on rehabilitation. So they're working really, really hard to learn like positive social behaviors and make improvements to make their life in there like manageable. And one false step and like you're done. Like that's taken away.
Do you get more people coming up to actually just read as a hobby, or is it more people going to the legal side, working on their case by themselves in their off time? And
yeah, the legal side is way more busy, and the general side is no longer a browsing library because there were issues with things being passed. So now the only people that hang out over there are my workers, and then everything else you have to request, and like I look through the book before I hand it over.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So they, the reading is a really big hobby. They just started a book club, actually. I mean, right before COVID happened and everything got shut down. And I was like, the one thing where people aren't going to be mad at me and I can go do something fun and like participate in rehabilitation. And we met one time and then everything got shut down. But I'm really excited. And the guys were like genuinely excited about what they'd been reading and what they're talking about. And I mean, I've been a librarian for, I've been working in libraries since like 2010. But I've been a librarian for probably eight years or so, and with children and teens and stuff, and they seem excited when you talk about them one-on-one with books, and then you get them in a group, and they're like, yeah, it was cool, and I liked it.
Yeah, because they're not, like, valuing it because it's, like, optional. And it's the only thing you get to do outside of your cell besides, like, jerk off or, like, stare at someone else's
Right, and
wiener,
you have
like...
nothing but time, man, to, like, mull stuff over.
Yeah.
And the insights and the way that they can relate to some of the characters. I mean, we read Holes.
Oh,
So,
Love that.
Guess what I've been thinking about
Also
for
a
the past
great porn.
15 minutes?
Holes.
Because I was going to ask you if you love holes.
Oh, I mean, who doesn't love holes? I mean, that's like, why we're all here, right?
But in all seriousness, Zero is
Either
one of my
indirectly
favorite
or
human
directly,
beings on the
right?
planet.
That's why we live together.
Is an excellent character, and there a lot of guys really identified with
What's
Zero.
Holes about besides the porn?
Are you
So-
fucking kidding
You've
me?
never seen Holes or
I've
read
dug holes?
So it's a
That's
book about a middle
Relate on a personal level.
a middle schooler that gets sent to like a work camp essentially, and so all of these kids, they all come from. I'm gonna get up on my high horse here real quick. They all come from low income families. Like they don't have big support systems. They aren't socioeconomically well off, and so they kind of just get screwed by the system when they get in trouble. And so they haul them off to the middle of nowhere for a rehabilitation camp that ends up just being a work camp out in the middle of the desert. And they wake them up at 4 a.m. to go out and dig holes.
Dope.
And as you're reading the story, it turns out that there's actually like kind of like a treasure hunt going on underneath this, like a subplot. And that's why they're digging the holes, is they're looking for this treasure. And it turns out that some of the characters are drawn together in like this perfect act of like karma, destiny, whatever. And it turns out they have ancestors whose lives were entangled that caused...
It's a cause and effect movie.
It is. It's
or
a
book. Sorry,
Yes.
I should say book.
Well,
but
it is a
movie.
It is a movie. But these, they learn about themselves while they're out there digging these holes every day and like the hard labor.
All the kids are petty crimes. Like none of them belong doing manual labor. It's a
No.
whole. It's a very like you feel bad for them
Didn't Shia
immediately.
LaBeouf's character like have to go because he like
Shuli Boof's in it?
Shia
Yeah.
LaBeouf?
It's Huey LaBeouf's magnum opus. I think.
Really?
Yeah, no,
It
it's-
is.
It's young Shuli
Yeah,
LaBeouf.
he was
Yeah.
accused of stealing shoes.
Yeah.
Which another kid was stealing because he was sleeping on a playground, saw the shoes, and then
He needed
it's a
shoes.
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually you should watch it.
It's
Just watch
great.
the movie.
You would like it.
It's
it is.
Pretty old.
Onions.
yeah.
Oh, I love
It's a-
onions.
It's an old
Yeah,
Disney
it's-
dude. The
Onions
onions,
good. Onions are
and
there.
the peaches.
Yeah,
They're
peaches.
They're
It's
pretty integral to the plot, actually.
And
They
there's
are.
little like lizards
You should
too.
never mix those two things.
Well, yeah, they don't. Just,
Onion and
oh
peach.
my god.
Yeah.
They don't, babe. They don't
I'm
mix
just
them.
saying.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a pretty good critique, I think, on like the way our justice system works in some ways. And the guys really they really identified with that, and it's awesome. And well, I guess we made it through 2 books, before everything got shut down because they also did Hatchet, which
That's great.
Oh, okay, yeah.
you guys are all fans.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Everyone
I hated
had
it the
no,
first
everyone
time.
we
I
had to
hated
read
the
it.
No, it
second
was
Family.
mandatory.
Yeah.
It was mandatory in Idaho schools.
Who was that author?
6th grade?
Gary something?
Yeah, something like
Gary
that.
Boring Fuck.
Paulson.
Gary
Gary-
Paulson.
yeah.
Same thing.
Oh, man.
He sounds like someone that's like
Hey, though.
selling a drug for
Gary
cancer.
Where the red fern grows. You got to
Discount
make them
Jack
where the
London.
read where the red fern grows about the dogs getting their guts cut out by the
Ooh,
cougar.
no,
Oof,
don't do that.
that's a heart wrencher.
Yeah.
That's a
I never
brutal
read
one.
that book.
Me neither.
Yeah, that'll make
I
you
couldn't make
cry.
it through.
Nah, probably
Could
not.
have him
Dogs
read
get
Animal
killed.
Farm.
Yeah.
That doesn't. I don't know.
It's pretty fascinating. It is a weird job. It is absolutely a weird.
We were talking
weird
about it
job.
today. We went and like hung out with my parents. My dad was like talking to her, and we were talking about how weird it must be for like some of those prisoners who are in like 25 to 35 years. They go in, like computers are all different, cell phones, like the whole world is just like fucking dramatically changed.
Yeah, like
and
the
then they're
internet
just like
was
put,
invented.
yeah, they were like put into this world and like just panic. She said some dude like literally like panicked and like went back into prison because it was like more
because
normal.
they
Oh, yeah,
released
no,
him, and it
that's-
was just like
Yeah.
it's
He made it less
Terminator
than
outside.
24 hours. And
Damn.
Isn't that
panicked.
crazy?
And you saw him back in your prison.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he was in there for the majority of his life. I think he was locked up by like 18 or 19. I mean, tried as an adult, and they let him out. He's what, in his 70s?
Oh,
He has no
jeez.
idea.
Oh, yeah.
That's
No support system. I mean,
yeah, that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, even the
You
people
just
with,
come
like,
back
10,
and like
15,
knock on
20
prison's
years.
door.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can I come back? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
They're like, you're gonna have to do a crime if you
I
want.
don't want to do a crime, but like I will.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just gonna go do a crime real
did you
quick.
find out what he
Yeah.
did, like to get back in?
Yeah, he did. Like he
Officer,
robbed
I
the grocery
intend on
store.
doing a crime.
Straight up, just was like panicked. Went straight to the grocery store. Robbed them. Came back.
Like wanted to get caught.
yeah.
Yes,
The old
like
Trailer Park
panicked.
Boys effect.
Absolutely panicked.
So crazy. Like 50 years, and you just like come out.
I wouldn't. I'd want to go back too. I like everything being the same as it is. So at that point,
We're
even if it
creatures of
takes you 10
habit.
years to get used to prison, you're used to it at that point. So
Yeah.
fuck it.
And I think it becomes so comfortable for people that recidivism, you know, you come comfortable with certain patterns of behavior and stuff. That stuff's hard to change.
Dude, you should go to prison, and we'll do the podcast over the little phones.
That'd be
Every week I go and I
Fucking
put
great.
a mic next to the little phone, and you like spit some bars, and you talk about everything's the same in here. And the
Oh,
food's
because
great.
I would automatically learn rap if I
Yeah,
went
no,
to
you
prison.
become a
Yes.
rapper. Everyone that goes to prison is
That's actually
just
true. I
rap.
probably would.
You get really good
Yeah.
at knowing like all the Bible verses, and you rap.
To be honest, I'd probably start reading a lot of books and rapping.
He's like, I'd want to hang out with
Why?
Talley.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
for
like
sure.
I
there
read
and,
like every religion's text. I read like the Tao. I read the Bible.
I thought about
read-
doing that just in. Have you done that? Have you ever read just other religious texts?
Oh, I
Are
read
you
like
really
all
like?
of them, except for the Mormon, whatever the fuck.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I was like,
not.
what the fuck?
I've never fully read anything. I mean, not even the Bible. I grew up going to church and stuff,
The
and I
end's
never
crazy,
even
like
made it.
dragons and fucking.
Yeah, the
end's
world ends.
Bonkers. Dude.
It's pretty nuts. It's like Game of Thrones
yeah,
stuff
super boring in the
in the
middle.
beginning.
And
It's a pretty
don't
slow
know.
starter. I've heard.
Proverbs is kind of dope.
Beginning's pretty dope.
I don't know.
It's okay. The beginning. The beginning is
like,
like
in
the
the
first Lord of the
beginning.
Rings.
Kind of
There's lots
drops
of
off in the
walking.
middle.
There's lots of character building. You're like, okay, we get it. Cause that all,
World
you know.
building.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's like 15 chapters of like how to build a tent.
Yeah.
Which are a little bit rough, like here and there.
That's what I'm saying.
Survival
It's a lot of
skills,
character
guys,
building.
because the world's gonna end.
Well, it's not like how to build a survival tent. It's how
Well-
to build a very specific religious tent. It's
Right.
not.
Oh.
It's not a.
And let's be
practical tent.
a
honest,
sky tent.
that's a new addition that they had Bear Grylls, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, right?
New additions.
it's
a
an
musical
addendum.
Group.
Just-
It's like you got to drink your pee too.
Yeah.
Bear
That
Grylls.
would be a Bear Grylls edition.
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds like the
Bear Grylls.
I'm here in
Bible
Babylon and
edition.
I'm drinking my own piss.
yeah, Proverbs of Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
would definitely.
I'm out
include
here
that.
all by myself, even though there's a
Right.
helicopter coming in 6 hours to take me to a fucking hotel, even though you think I'm out here roughing it.
Also, fuck George Foreman. Why doesn't Bear Grylls make a grill? Like, duh. Bear
Yeah.
Grylls.
Also, Bear Grylls.
Like
grills.
a bear-sized grill? 4 grills?
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's go with
Teeth,
grills because
nice
George
teeth. Or
Foreman
just like a
would
barbecue.
still knock fucking Bear
Maybe.
Grylls out.
I don't know. You
barbecue.
drink enough piss,
Yeah.
you can
Make a
probably
true
outbox
story.
George Foreman. Just saying.
I don't know.
Floyd still hasn't announced a fight.
Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather
Oh.
is coming back.
She doesn't know.
Or not Floyd Mayweather.
No.
Why did I say Floyd Mayweather? That's silly. I meant Mike Tyson. Sorry.
Oh, Mike Tyson's gonna fight again. He's
Yeah.
so old.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch training videos of him?
Yeah,
Fucking
no.
terrifying.
Fucking scary.
Yeah,
He's
you're like, oh, he
like
still has
still?
everything.
53 years old and he's like
Dude.
swing. Oh my.
It's like nightmare fuel. I'm like, oh, you're
Yeah.
still fucking a fully grown bear.
Still gonna
Like,
Like,
eat
don't
you.
fuck
he's,
with
I mean,
you.
he's only like 52 or
53, I
but
think.
holy fuck, dude! Like hitting a heavy bag and the thing is like distorting and curling around his hand. I'm like, that's a 250-pound bag, and he's just like, "Durr, durr, durr, durr."
And the speed, like the.
Still fast, still strong. He's gonna fight
No,
fucking
I did. There's
someone
no
who's
fight.
gonna die or something. No, he's gonna fight.
Evander Holyfield, like the guy he bit.
No.
That is
the
something.
plan
Ortiz.
eventually
Isn't he
at some
fighting
point.
Ortiz?
Well,
Tito
no,
Ortiz?
there was a thought of it. There was him and Fabrico Windrum.
I feel
who
like
was a
that's a
UFC
made-up
fighter.
name.
Well,
Right.
not.
Fabrico.
Fabrico.
Fabrico Windrum.
He works for Tide.
I probably pronounced it wrong, but
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, sorry. That was.
Is that the name of the bear for the fabric softener?
He's a Thane
Fabrico.
of White
Fabric.
Rhino.
Yeah,
Pretty sure that's Chucky.
Fabrico.
Fuck that bear, dude. That bear was terrifying.
What was the bear's name?
Snuggles.
Snuggles.
Oh, ooh.
The name of the brand.
Why do we know
Oh.
this?
Because
Oh, it was the name of the
American
brand.
Product placement?
Yeah, exactly. Just watching years
That
of
bear was
fucking
real
cartoons
creepy.
It
and
was the little
commercials.
like blonde bear, right? The one that was just like woohoo.
He was
It
like the
looked kinda
mentally
like a toy
unstable bear that
poodle.
Yeah.
couldn't make it into the Care Bear. So like, you got to go sell laundry,
Do you
dude. You're
remember
too
the,
tweaking.
Adidas-
This fucking bear has like
Adidas Color
PCP.
Spectrum commercial things, like the pink one or whatever, where it had like the weird,
Oh,
creepy.
yeah,
It
the-
started with
the, like,
the snuggle
paints
bear
and the-
and stuff
yeah.
like that, and then like the pink liquid that just like consumed that lady
Yeah.
and she turned into rhinestones.
Wait,
yeah,
that
Adidas got
what?
weird.
No, it was weird.
Adidas?
Yeah, it was like an Adidas.
Early 2000s,
Or
right?
like late.
I don't know. Skittles
I feel
had a
like I
run where you were
missed
like,
this.
hey guys, it's candy.
Yeah.
Okay guys, it's fucking Skittles.
Oh
But,
yeah,
like, they,
no, the
they weren't
Skittles
even like on
commercials.
Some of the
TV or
Skittle
anything like
ones.
that. They were just like an online only sort of thing, and it was like you kind of had to search them out. But yeah, they had
Oh.
this like the color spectrum sort of thing, but the one for pink in specific was
Just
Yeah, it
like,
was
am I
weird.
on
I
your list?
remember
Very
those.
bizarre.
I do remember those,
Yeah.
but the Skittles
Well.
commercials,
The Skittles commercials is a little.
they
over
took
the
it
top.
like very far.
the bride and groom, like having sex on the bed, and you can see it
Oh,
from
yeah.
behind, and
And
then,
then
he
the
just,
s- the
shoots
Skittles.
Skittles all
I don't
over.
know if
I'm
that
like,
was ever, like,
holy
aired, though.
That was
I think-
actually that was a parody.
Yeah, I don't think
Are
that
you
one ever
sure?
aired.
I feel like that was
no,
a legit.
I think
Skittle.
that was a legit
and they
Skittles
just
commercial.
they pulled it because they were
Yeah.
like, okay, then that's the last one, like forever.
There was like a
Skittles.
leprechaun one too, wasn't there? Like
Also,
a,
you don't need to advertise fucking Skittles. We know.
They're
Yeah.
delicious.
do you guys remember?
exist?
Do you remember the Quiznos sub?
Oh, dude.
The
yeah.
gerbils?
the reanimated gerbils?
Squeeze no stab.
Oh my
Crazy
God,
eyes.
dude,
They have a
Yeah,
pepper
they were
bar.
they were definitely like reanimated, like
That's borderline as offensive as
Taxidermy.
blackface.
Taxidermy.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude.
Hated it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So like, quote, guys, just toast
remember-
sandwiches.
oh.
Stop
Yeah.
like reanimating
Like,
gerbils.
ugh.
Like, not appetizing.
All of
Yeah.
our sandwiches are hot.
There's
I'm
no
going
gerbil
to
hair in the
Subway.
toaster. It's like, fuck Subway and their cold sandwiches. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
just have a fucking sandwich war.
Oh, you want to have a sandwich that's eaten the way it's meant to be eaten? Fuck you,
Like,
go
what
to
would
Subway.
yeah, what would have
Like,
been dope is like each sandwich company picks a rapper and then they rap battle over.
So like Sprite and Dr. Pepper.
right,
Ah.
yeah, you
There
have
we
like
go.
Dude.
like battle robots. You each build a battle robot and they fight instead of having wars. The
Like
battle
the
robots fight.
kind of old system of patronage for artists and everything like that, but corporate patronage and everything. Have them, pick a rapper to
Right.
battle over their brand and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
they represent your brand.
Yeah.
So I guess
Oh.
now the real question is, if
Who,
you
right?
had to pick two rappers, who are they going to be to compete each other for the
Who,
artists
for
of
what brand?
Subway?
for
Yeah.
sandwiches?
Yeah, I
for
think we
what
have
brand?
I mean,
Vote
Subway's
for
Eminem,
sandwiches.
duh. I mean,
What?
duh.
Really?
Yeah, white bread.
Oh, well,
Okay.
they have
A lot of white bread.
they have like 6 different varieties of bread.
Yeah.
Just throwing
Quiznos
that
would
out
be
there.
All
like-
of them are white though.
Except for the wheat
Whole
one.
wheat. Whole wheat is
That-
brown.
Quiznos would be like
I
Tech
guess they
9
don't have
or something.
rye, do they?
No. Whole
Do they
wheat,
even
Italian
have
herbs and cheese, honey oat,
Yeah,
white.
you used to work there. You
Yeah,
know.
you're
I
that.
an
fucking
expert.
managed it.
I
Like
go in
I
and she's like, don't eat this and don't eat this. That's made of people or something like that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll take the
don't
whatever.
ever eat
Like,
the cold cut combo.
Oh, it's literally just 3 different kinds of
It
bologna.
literally comes in a package of it, like placed, like how you place it on the sandwich. Like you don't do that at all. You just open the bag and stick it in the little Tupperware.
And I'm sure a
Ew.
robot did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That are like the tuna. Did you ever mix the tuna?
Oh,
so
yeah.
the tuna is you have like 3 big bags of tuna that's like
you worked there
dry.
too?
Yeah, I worked at a Subway. So you dump it in the thing and then you have a giant bladder of mayonnaise and you just squeeze it into it and
Yum.
Mix it with your hands.
Hands.
I'm
With
sorry.
gloves,
Yeah,
what?
gloves. Yeah.
When I
mean,
wanted
how
to.
else do you mix industrial-sized things of tuna? Trying
Your
to, like,
dicks.
I mean,
An
utensils.
industrial-sized spatula,
Yeah.
No.
obviously.
Yeah, but like, no, if you've ever done that,
Or a
it's
machine.
way more cumbersome to use a giant spatula
Yeah.
than it is to just use your hands.
It's
Yeah.
gnarly. Or like having to like chop the onions at like 6 a.m. when they started doing like the breakfast and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, slice a bunch of red onions right when you wake up. Like, I don't really want to do that to my eyes right now.
You get real in touch with your emotions, though. You're like, you cry every morning, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's great.
Flex that
It's really
muscle
good
every morning.
therapy. We should take notes.
Yeah, I would never ever go work at another Subway ever again.
I don't know. It was like the easiest job I've ever had.
That's what Ellie was talking
And I
about when I
worked at-
took her there the other day.
I worked at McDonald's, and McDonald's is actually kind of hectic.
I feel like
it gets a
McDonald's would be
little
crazy.
fucking ridiculous, especially when you have
Well,
some
just
like
if it's so busy. and
yeah,
everything,
especially when you have like a 38-year-old lesbian yelling at you because she's the manager now. Sorry, that's very specific because Lewiston, both of the McDonald's in Lewiston were managed.
I'm gonna go
by
out on a limb.
lesbians, I
Short,
think.
purple hair.
No, short, Karen haircut. It was bleach and black and whatever.
Other colors.
Other colors. But yeah, that's stressful. I once got written up because it was my day off at McDonald's and we were coming through the drive-thru with people and I was sitting in the back of the pickup truck. It's Lewiston. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was probably space in the cab. I was like, fuck it, doesn't matter. I climbed through the drive-thru window from the outside to check my schedule.
crap.
I was like, I need to check my schedule, and I just
Hey, there's
climbed
doors.
through. Came in the next day, and they were like, "Yeah, you have to sign this because shouldn't have done that." And I'm like, "Probably not, but go
Yeah,
fuck
you're
yourself."
probably right.
It was awesome. And then they fired one of the managers we worked with, one of the night supervisor managers, whatever. They have like 6 different levels of supervisor at McDonald's for some god
Sounds
awful
like
reason.
it sounds like the government. I think
Yeah,
it works
it-
that way.
yeah.
Military.
That's
Yeah.
why they make so much
Hamburger
money.
Army.
But yeah, they
Lieutenant. Night
fired her
manager.
because she was like, so stuff that was made wrong or whatever would sit in the warming tray for a certain amount of time. And after that certain amount of time, you're supposed to throw it away. And it's literally against the rules to feed other, like, the employees with it. Like, because I'd be like, I'll eat that. And we
Yeah.
had one manager that was like, yeah, just make sure you mark it down on waste. And she got caught feeding it to people and got fired for it. To employees, not just to like, employees would be like, I'm off my shift. And they're like, how old's that? I'll take it. And they fired her for letting people do that instead of throwing it away.
Ronald McDonald doesn't fuck around, dude.
Ronald McDonald is a
It's like he
rapist.
betrayed the burger empire.
Yeah. Was it a McDonald rule or was it an
Heretic.
OSHA rule?
Don't
OSHA
care.
only cares about like
OSHA,
ladders.
OSHA are worse than the cops, and I know a lot of people can't understand.
OSHA only cares about
OSHA's
ladders.
worse than the cops. Timing.
I know people, anyone that's
Where's the OSHA protest, Dylan?
someone that works at like I drive a forklift at work, so if I get on my I got told that if I get caught being on the forklift without a seatbelt, I get a $700 fine, and so does the company, and then they fire me
Wow.
because I'm a
Holy
liability at that
shit.
point. OSHA is gnarly, like there, and
mess around.
and the intention OSHA's intention anymore is not to make people safe. It's literally to make money.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no, like
it's-
that's
it's-
what all legal enforcement agencies are.
Right. Hey, there's not enough rungs
So
on that ladder.
they're not worse than cops, but when I'm at work, they're worse than cops.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna worry about a cop finding me while I'm at work. Well, that's not true. Never mind. Fuck cops.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like we're spinning into some
I was
territory
gonna say
where
you could kill 2 birds with one stone. You could like drive the forklift with no seatbelt out into traffic, and then fight off the cops and OSHA at the same time.
That'd be
Go
sick.
down in a
Well,
blaze of glory. But
And
like,
you know-
paperwork, bullets, paperwork. You know.
you know what they'd
Fuck
probably
you.
catch you for? They'd probably send you to prison for destroying property.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be the thing. That'd be the clincher. And then you come and hang out with me.
But they would handcuff you nicely and like
Hope
let you
to
sit in the
God
front.
I never have to hang out with you.
They're
Am I
like,
gonna ride
"Sir,
shotgun?"
What can you do?
They're like, sir, can I please arrest you? Is that okay with you if I arrest you? You're like, yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I'm doing
have a
it.
civil
Actually, wait a
conversation.
little bit.
That's-
Okay, now arrest me. You know.
That's literally what happened when I got arrested. They're like, we
Yeah.
got to put you in handcuffs and arrest you now. And I'm like,
Nah.
Dude.
okay.
you?
I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, they literally, like, asked me to turn.
Yeah,
Like,
just wanna
there was
rough
no
you up a little
force,
bit,
there
like,
was no anything. They're like, it's an automatic arrest once this situation. And I'm like, okay. And I just turned around. I didn't even like, I was
Yeah, it's
like,
like a car wash. Like,
what am I gonna
option A, option B, option C comes with like a little bit of we rough you up.
Do I
Option
get a
D is
pass
all.
go
Jerry will
before I
throw
do
you on the
this?
ground,
Like,
steal your shoes. It's the same shoe size as you.
dude, fucking ridiculous.
Oh man.
I'm having flashbacks now. I'm like, fuck them.
Yeah, he thinks he's got street cred because he got arrested for a seatbelt.
I got
ticket and,
one
like,
street cred.
Yeah,
I got
but
one.
I mean-
and I think I spent it already.
You did. You did.
So
Cashed in your
Cashed in.
street cred.
We went over the sliding scale of like
Yeah.
what you can get with street cred. Like it's like an imaginary
What do
dollar
you think
store.
you could get?
don't ask him that question. Not
I
right
feel like
now.
yeah, I was like, we're about to send it.
He takes
I
like a
actually
deep
already
breath.
said what I
It's just like,
I actually already said what I could get.
I
I
was
need to
gonna
go
say-
back and delete that episode now
Yeah, seriously.
because I did say mixed race baby. And, but that's okay. I just want to adopt a baby. And at the time, I was like, I could cash my street cred in for a little baby. But anyways, yeah. I digress.
My
Oh,
fucking
man.
god, dude. I played Doom Eternal today. It doesn't pertain to anything. I was bunking.
No,
You don't,
Fucking
you don't
segue.
like play any. You guys don't fuck with any video games huh? In the library. There's no.
Oh, are you kidding?
In the
Are you
prison library, they're like,
kidding
"Can I play Flappy Bird?" You're like, "You're in jail, Jerry."
No,
Flappy
sir.
It's all Jerry's.
You may not.
Yeah, today's Jerry. He's doing everything. No video games whatsoever. They're
No,
not
I
getting
mean-
online and being like,
No, it's pretty locked down. I mean, they've opened some things up. Like they have an instant messaging program, which you pay for. They have like a Skype, like the video call conference, which you pay for. So you have access, I think, to some video, like Xboxes and stuff, but it's like an incentive, and there are certain things that they're allowed to have, like in their cells once they've reached a certain level of
Status.
privilege. Yeah,
Goodness.
like basically earned it. But they pay for all
they should just
of
put
it.
duck hunt in
So
there.
you have.
That's
I mean,
a
if you
little
can,
too close to home.
if you can behave yourself for long enough and you can pay for it, you can have comforts of. You get to have
Yeah,
privileges.
just let them play Call of Duty. I don't see the harm.
Mario.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
old school
that's
Mario.
out of my scope. I'm just trying to make it through the law library every day without anybody trying to come over a counter at me. So, goals.
Do you ever feel in danger at your job, or you ever? There's like certain guys that make you nervous. Like,
Oh yeah,
oh shit, here comes T-Rex. He's gonna read.
yeah.
fucking
I mean, well, because you have a lot of.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind again.
Oh man.
Was that even a book at one point? I
I'm
know
sure.
It
I'm
is
like-
Margaret
I'm assuming it
Margaret
was.
Mitchell, and she passed away. I think it was a car accident, or she got hit by a car
You
before.
know too much.
before she ever got to follow up. I think she died right around the time that they turned it into a film.
So
But
30s, 40s.
So there was gonna be like a sequel to Gone with the Wind.
we'll never know because she
How does
died.
the book
They're like,
end?
Away with the Wind.
Yeah.
No.
It
So
ends with a really famous line. Frankly, my
It's like,
dear,
I'm getting on this
Jesus
plane.
I
wept.
don't
Oh, the
give
guy.
a damn.
Oh, yeah, it was
Brett
like-
Butler storms
The-
out
that's the
and
end.
leaves her.
I thought he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get beans on
and
this
he
plane,"
leaves her
you're a bit-
crying, and she says her iconic line, which is, "Tomorrow is another day." Like she's gonna win her man back.
glad I don't need to read that book
Gotcha.
anymore.
Anyways, there you guys go for
I fell
that.
asleep during
Really,
that synopsis.
yeah, you're welcome.
Gonna be real honest.
That's fine. It's not for everyone.
Is that the movie where he's dressed like fucking like Al Capone and he's about to get on a plane? It's black and white and I'm sleeping.
That's
No, because
Casablanca.
it takes
Jesus
place. It
Christ.
takes it takes place during the Civil War era.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like a
I'm thinking of
southern-
Casablanca.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
for sure.
Sleeping.
Very different.
Very
A little
Are they though?
different.
Nope. You
Both
could-
boring. Both about love stories. Both involve beans. I think at the end, something. I made a hill of beans or something. The guy's like something. Isn't there beans at the end of Casablanca? Are you? The guy's standing by a plane and he's like something about beans, right?
No.
A hill made of beans. I swear to God.
Yeah, you.
Old timey movies about beans.
I mean, you are correct. I do believe that the end scene does take place, like with
Next
her
to a hill of
getting.
beans. Hill of beans, Casablanca. Ha! I'm a literary genius.
Whoa.
Movie quotes. Casablanca.
It's a
Hill of
literary
beans.
genius.
It's a film.
Literary genius. Movie quotes.
Movie quotes.
Yeah.
Fucking retard.
They gave Bob Dylan a Nobel Prize for literature. Literature doesn't mean anything anymore.
Bob Dylan going?
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
you
he is
remember that-
considered a poet.
You remember that line he wrote? You remember that
Considered
line?
a poet.
There are a lot of.
I
I think there's a lot of men
That's what
throughout
he sounds
history
like
that
to
have
me.
been given awards that
Gross.
also make me go, did he though?
Yeah, I think all awards are stupid.
Was
so
he,
it's kinda-
though?
I'm pretty sure Hitler was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, so
Probably. I mean, like,
There
I
you
have
go.
no.
Wasn't he
No
on
knowledge
like
of that, but-
Time magazine too, Hitler?
Well, yeah, but Time put
not
lots
no.
of people on. Like, it's the most influential.
There it goes.
Gone,
Most influential.
gone with the
person.
wind.
Yeah. Not necessarily the best
Yeah.
people.
Donald
Stuff
Trump made
like
it on
that.
Time magazine.
No,
too.
he did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
He posted that. It was fake.
No, that was Hitler.
No, I don't think Donald Trump was actually on Time magazine.
No, but Hitler
This is
was.
why-
Yeah,
No,
that we
Hitler
already talked
was.
about that. We touched base on that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I'm just, you know.
This is why it's important to
Context
have
is
really good
everything.
research skills.
Yeah. I mean, you could put
Nope.
anyone's face on Time.
You know how funny this podcast would be if we had research skills? Not at all.
None.
Man, they're making me read the
Funnies.
whole fucking movie, and I
I was
hate
gonna
it.
say, like, you're doing some pretty
Yeah, it was like
It's
deep
so
diving.
Casablanca.
Should we-
being
Should we just do
answer.
a table read of Casablanca?
Let's not.
Just real quick.
No.
Just right now? Do you guys got
Do
2
a
hours?
table read of Casablanca?
It's like the
Hey,
new thing you guys do with the
never.
podcast.
Do you think you could do that?
No,
Do you,
fuck
do you-
no,
you-
fuck
not at
no.
all? You don't think that would be okay if we sat here and did
Couldn't
a
stay
table
in
read?
character long enough.
Not you personally, dickhead. I meant like YouTube wise. Like, would that?
Oh, yeah,
Would
like
you get in trouble
copyright?
for copyright, or would that just
Absolutely. I think you.
You think so?
I think so. I
If-
definitely think that would
Because
be
it's like an audio
infringement
book at that point, right?
on
Like,
you. I don't know. We'd have to do some research. I feel like
be?
that is.
You would have to do some
I
research,
feel like
but
it's
that's fine.
definitely hitting some pretty tricky areas of
Yeah,
copyright
that's-
law.
it's
That
like-
it'd be.
So it's not a cover because I know for a song you can do your own cover and put it on YouTube and be fine.
True. Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You're part of his work, the thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not
What
with him,
is
feel like
happening
that's
right
not-
now?
maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
Do we have to listen to the whole speech?
We'll always have past.
Is it long?
We didn't have. We lost it until you came to Casablanca. We got it back last night.
When I said I would never leave you.
And you
Is
never
this
will.
how they break the
I've
algorithm?
got a job to
To
do
have
too.
this on their channel?
Where I'm going,
Probably.
you
Is that
can't
what they're
follow.
doing?
I've got things you can't be any part of. Ilse, I'm no good at being
Acting
noble.
so bad.
It doesn't take much to see that the problems of three
I'm
little
clearly
people don't
reading.
amount to a hill of beans in this crazy
Oh!
world.
Don't amount to a hill of beans in
Oh.
this crazy world.
Hill
There
Not
it was.
beans.
Not that there is a hill of beans behind us.
I had a weird childhood, dude. I like, you know.
You know,
things in my head.
this is
Being
how
hill.
things get stuck in your head.
I
You
remember
gotta-
hill of beans, airplane, I'm sleeping. That was all I remember
Yeah.
about Casablanca.
You know, before the internet,
the
that would have
ending.
been a really hard answer to find. So,
Right.
thanks, internet.
I
It's just
still
a
do
weird
that with
thing,
like
hill of beans.
Yeah, but notice, I mean, that was a pretty long clip. I
I'm gonna
wonder if they also had to do all that funky stuff to get away with how long of a clip they were playing.
Yeah.
Probably,
Which
probably.
I feel like would be a similar thing with. I wonder what the creative rules and licenses are around having a script that is probably copyrighted.
Do you think that
because you can cover a song, so if you cover a script,
do you think the
You
hill of
could-
beans thing was
way.
because of the depression? Like that was valuable?
probably.
when was
Could
was this
be.
made in the
Yeah.
Like a
20s?
depression
Do you
era,
wanna do a-
leftover from the
You
Some
want
more
to do a
research?
deep dive and
Etymology
find
of
out
the hill of
Yeah.
the.
Where does the hill of beans?
Why the hill of beans?
Yeah.
Mexico.
Man, that's a big hill. That's a lot of beans.
So where the origins of that?
make
Well,
a
they didn't
hill?
say how big the hill. How big is a hill?
It doesn't
Smaller than a
amount
mountain.
to a hill of beans.
So-
Like how? Like
Is he
What
just
i-
stepping over
what is
this
that
hill,
about?
or is it like is it a light jog? Is he gonna sweat?
or maybe it's like they're
don't
not valuable because he's saying it does like
Oh,
it's pointless. It's not valuable. So I
Cool.
imagine a hill of beans is like
Yeah, we got bean
what
hills
kind
everywhere.
of beans?
Oh,
What kind of beans do you like?
all of them really,
But if you're gonna waste them, I'd
except
like them to
lima
be like
beans.
Lima
Lima beans are fucking.
Yeah.
Isn't that a
nobody
legume?
likes those.
Isn't that a legume? It's not a bean.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. All beans
Yeah.
are beans are all legumes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beans are
All
legumes.
legumes.
Never mind. I'm fucking retarded. Nuts. Peanuts are not nuts. They're legumes.
Yeah.
Yes. There you are.
Peanuts a bean.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
A bean nut.
Sorry,
There
I
you
had a
go.
stroke.
We'll excuse this lapse
Yeah.
of judgment in bean knowledge.
Yeah. They're not really being
I
very
like how we all got insulted too. We were just like, yeah, they are.
Yeah, that is a lagoon.
I know. Everyone was like really angry about it. Excuse me, you're
Yeah.
wrong.
I like misgendered a food. You guys like, whoa,
You're like,
it's 2020,
That's
dude.
really offensive.
It's your lagoons,
You just
right?
dead named a peanut, bro. Like,
Oh my god.
So
Fuck
easy
yeah.
to get derailed.
can't find it. But I'm gonna just go with in the Depression, beans were worth a lot. They're just like, wait, they used to
worth
plant
it.
them between corn, and they were like blah blah blah, and then like, just
Between
like,
two corns.
Who's your favorite author? I probably won't know who it is, but shoot.
I don't
Stan Lee.
know if I have. I don't know if I have like a favorite.
What's your favorite book then? Who wrote that book?
I did read a lot of like Chris Crutcher growing up. He's an
Was it
Idaho
the crippled
native.
guy with the?
Because of the crutcher? Come on, babe.
I know I'm reaching. But...
Swing
Miss.
Pretty big.
It's a miss.
There's going to be a really
Big
awkward silence, but I didn't
reach.
state what that was.
But
He's from Idaho, and he's your favorite.
yeah, he's from Idaho. He grew up in Donley Cascade area, and he wrote a lot of like sports fiction, which is not normally something I'd be into. But he also did a lot of counseling, like working with troubled teens that had like traumatic experiences
Like
and
sports
stuff.
fiction.
Yes, so
That's all I wrote.
Like
in
full
school.
contact baseball exists on the
well,
planet.
he
far,
would
far away,
he
we're
would
like, what?
handle like complex emotional issues or like
Oh, like an all-gay baseball team.
Sure. I mean, that's not one of the things, but I'm sure he could probably handle it. But like people, like kids that are getting abused
By
at
baseball
home
players.
or whatever, and like their outlet was
Baseball.
having a team,
Hey, guess what
Sport
she's
Like a
explaining?
Sandlot.
Guess what she's
Giving-
explaining? Me.
giving them a positive outlet. But I
You don't
liked
like sports?
that he
Did when I was
always
a
dealt
kid.
with
Oh.
like deeper psychological issues, and it was the first author that I read that treated teens as like actual people with actual problems and feelings and like complex emotions.
Okay.
Babe,
So.
who's your favorite author?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Good on him. for that.
Keegan's like, nope.
That is strike two.
Fuck.
Dylan, who's your favorite author?
Ah,
I'm not a favorite author.
Keegan?
There's no fucking way.
Jesus. We already know.
Job.
Don't say Hitler.
Job's pretty good though.
Poor Boyle. Motherfucker.
No, like probably like C.S. Lewis or
I guess Edgar Allan Poe, but that's not really books.
That's literally just a
short
hipster
stories.
response.
It
Yeah.
is.
That's
It's short
He wrote
stories.
words, and I read them, and I was
Short
like, that's
stories
dope.
and poetry. I think that makes you an
He's
author.
an author. Right?
Who wrote those stupid? I say stupid now because I read back and I'd laugh through the whole thing. But the like Glass and what the fuck were the other ones? Split.
Oh, Chuck Palahniuk?
Something like
Is
that.
that-
Like
That's
it's
the guy that wrote
Glass
Choke.
and Split.
Explain
was,
it to me.
It's a
M. Night
comic.
Shyamalan movies.
Yeah.
Well, there was also,
There's one called Glass. I know for
Okay.
sure
yeah.
because it's about someone addicted to meth. They're like
Yeah.
teenagers addicted.
Crank. And
Crank
it's
is the first
Hopkins.
one.
It's her last name is Hopkins, and she actually it was inspired because her daughter
You're right.
was an addict.
Ellen
Yes.
Hopkins.
Was that is that
Of
is that a
course I
popular?
was right.
Is that a popular
Yeah,
one in the prison?
Janelle.
What?
I don't. Those would not be. I don't think those are even part of the collection.
Oh, okay.
They do edit the things that are in there. I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that they typically go for things where people are kind of overcoming.
Not
Struggles,
the
not
end
like
and everyone
the-
dies.
Yeah, I mean, not that they don't have good stuff in there, and I don't know that it has ever even been. I mean, it would require someone to donate it, and I feel
Okay.
like it kind of fizzled out in the 2000s. It wasn't quite as popular.
I'll donate all of her stuff just because
good.
it's super easy to read, and I read them in high school, and we were a part of the high school class in Lewiston.
Mm-hmm.
They took those and they took them off, and no one could do reports on them because everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
Because all of the pages are like, it's only like half a page of reading,
It's
but
written
they were
in
like
prose.
but they were like 500 pages long, but it was you're only reading 200 pages.
Because it was
Right.
so spaced out.
and the way
or-
well
Yeah,
just that
it's written in prose, which is like poetry form, so they'd
Yeah.
be in long kind of thin
More like
lines,
heavy
really
poetry
big,
sort of
really
thing.
big margins.
But they were actually really good stories
It's
and
almost like lyrics.
pretty
Yeah.
sad the whole way.
That's
through.
She has a
Chanel's
lot of
favorite
drug
shows.
books. I just looked.
All
Yeah,
of them,
she
all
does,
of
like,
them are about
Crank
fucked up
and
people, like
Glass
the
and
girl that's
Burn.
pregnant and like
She tackles
Yeah.
really heavy topics,
Yep.
but it's really simple, easy to understand language, and you get kind of hit in the face with them, but they're super easy, quick reads of
What's
like
that one? The
500.
girl
pretty
with
brutal.
the tramp stamp tattoo. They
Yeah.
made movies and books.
The
about.
dragon
The
tattoo.
girl with the
with the-
dragon tattoo.
That was a pretty crazy
Butterfly,
movie.
Fuck no.
No, it was the girl with the dragon tattoo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and
feel
it
like
was
the
the girl
titles.
who kicked the hornet's nest, and there's like a whole
Right.
series. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I didn't read them, but I was just like, this seems stupid, and I'm not gonna read.
Did
them.
you watch the
I
movie?
think mainly because it was
No.
about like a Swedish.
I did watch
assassin,
the
and I was like,
Swedish one of the Isn't there an
Sweden
American and a
doesn't do it.
Swedish
Yeah.
version of
Yeah.
those?
Yeah.
So I
There
watched
is.
the first one of the Swedish ones, but then that involved reading, and I was like, that's why I didn't read the book, so I'm not gonna read the movie later.
I feel like I
These
watched the
things
American
called
one.
audio books, and sometimes you can just listen
I love
to
audiobooks
somebody else read
because there's
them.
less reading
I should
involved.
do that.
Yeah.
I've thought about it before, but
If
then
you
it's like
check-
you need to
I'm
pay
gonna
for
do
this
a plug.
book. Like,
If
no.
you check out your local library, they might have an app where you can download and check out free library books
Wait,
to
for
listen
real
to.
though?
Yeah.
That's a
It's
great
called-
thing.
It's
No,
called,
she's lying to you about
It's
that.
called-
They're called
It's a comedy
earwords.
podcast.
it's called Libby.
Libby.
Are they gonna like charge me if I don't listen to it
No.
in long enough? Or are they gonna be like, we need that
It's
file back?
It's actually
Yeah.
free. Like
You have a
Download
fine.
that.
You have an
You
Hey, will you
untapped file
upload
fine.
that to us?
you download it, you hook it to your library card, and then you check out the library's ebooks, and you never get charged overdue fees because it just automatically checks.
Yeah,
Like
so
that
isn't
is-
everyone just doing that?
Because we live in America and we're all fucking
Earwords.
stupid as
everybody-
fuck and think we're smart.
Yeah, everybody likes Audible better, and then it also drives up the prices for the libraries. Also, there's licensing issues, so sometimes people don't want to give over the digital license to libraries. So you have to wait
some
a certain
stuff's
amount
not
of time.
available.
Yeah, so you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can get it because they don't. Weird in our society, they don't want people to have things for free.
Oh, God forbid.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Why do I have to bring dimes in to get copies?
It's only dimes.
Because they have
10
to,
cents.
Probably,
they have to
I
pay for
bet,
the paper.
I bet it is
Yeah.
an older, based on the area that we are in and
Yeah.
the library that I know you were probably
Just say it.
using.
Idaho's poor.
And it's probably a port. I bet it's a coin-op machine. I bet they have like an old-fashioned copy print system, and it's a coin-op.
Like, just get a fucking copier.
Yeah, well, you gotta have money
Janelle.
I know.
and
I know.
and a
Not every-
digital system that manages that on the
Janelle,
back
who's your
end.
favorite author? Is it Hanson, the Hanson brothers?
They're not
authors.
You guys just made Hanson. That was Hanson right there.
I just summoned a demon. I just said, Hanson, this is gonna make 4 people do a verse of a fucking cancerous song.
I don't know.
I don't think I have a
Our
favorite
harmonizing
artist
was pretty
or
good.
author.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
I mean, Judy Blume was pretty cool growing up. Love me
yeah.
some Judy Blume.
She is
Bloom.
pretty rad.
Which one's that?
Lady.
Oh, Super Fudge, right?
Huh?
No. Who's Super
Is
Fudge?
that a
Actually-
funk band?
Judy Blume wrote Super Fudge, right?
I believe
Isn't that a funk band?
either or her or
It should
Beverly
be.
Clear.
I mean, like,
I feel like
Superfudge?
it's either Bloom or Cleary.
I honestly don't remember.
I did a report on Judy Blume in
Definitely.
4th grade. so
Super
that was-
Oh, okay.
It was
Super-
like
yeah,
Tiger
based on-
Eyes and stuff like that. I think is Judy Bloom.
Here we go. I don't know what, like,
Super Fudge, debatable.
I can't remember.
well,
My
she's
teen
terrible.
Super
literature
Fudge
knowledge is
about.
much better.
I don't
Are you
remember.
there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Margaret, yeah, I think that was one of the more.
Yeah,
populars.
Super Fudge. You were right.
It was.
Fucking
Look
am a
at
What is
you.
genius.
Super Fudge about?
I think it's a 4th grader.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Sounds
Blubber.
boring.
Yeah.
Wait,
She wrote
Blubber?
Flubber?
Or-
Blubber.
Oh, I think
Oh,
I was like,
You're like,
love
wait,
that
hold
movie.
up.
that was
She
a
wrote
book?
Flubber?
I'll read that.
Yeah.
Robin Williams do the voiceover for the book Flubber.
Dude, the book Flubber.
That'd be
That'd
bad.
be a
would be
wild
dope.
ride.
You should write that, Keegan.
Flubber. the
Like,
book.
Yeah.
as like your life's work. You're like, I've realized what my calling was. is to
Goals.
do the literary version of Flubber.
And do
Dude.
something really crazy too. Since Robin Williams is dead, change the name of the character in the book to Robin.
That would go over great, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Lots of people would be.
They
thrilled
would
about that.
love it.
Right, yeah.
And then Robin rubbed it on the bottom of his shoes. You could show
Yeah, do it all old
I
timey.
never saw that movie.
You never saw Flubber?
For real? It's actually really good.
Really?
Well, probably not
mean,
anymore.
Not
but
really.
Yeah.
If you're like 9, it's
Yeah,
slaps.
like, this is good.
It was like it killed.
It's not Holes by any means. It didn't hold up, but
Have you watched Holes recently?
probably about within the last 6 months. Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
cool. That's impressive.
Hey,
I was just
Have you
calling
watched
out, I was
Flubber in the last
fact-checking.
6 weeks?
no, I haven't, and actually probably gonna go home and watch.
Dude,
Flubber
remember when he
after this.
puts it in the car and the car? can,
Yeah,
like,
I
fly?
remember.
Speaking of flying
Yes.
cars, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, anyone?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
I actually
Hi,
just
everywhere we go. Chitty, that fucking song.
I
Dude.
actually just watched it a few months ago.
Oh, really?
Well, when I moved to where I moved in Oregon, there was
Don't dox yourself.
there was nothing to do,
But
and
watch
it took,
Chitty Chitty
and there
Bang
was
Bang.
no. I had no internet connection,
What kind of fresh hell
and
is
I
this where
only
can
had
only
like
watch
a
Chitty
I
Chitty Bang
only
Bang?
had a handful of like DVDs left because who has those anymore?
You have Chitty
And
Chitty
I-
Bang Bang
and
on
that's your
DVD?
Desert
I
Island fucking
unearthed-
DVD.
I unearthed this box of musicals that an old boyfriend had given me, and I had never opened it, and I have no idea how it lasted this long. And Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was one of them. I went
Well,
through
that's
all.
why you broke up. Good call. Like, oh, you're into musicals? What kind of musicals are about? Oh, the ones about fucking animated cars later.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Phantom of the Opera kind of musicals, but yeah,
Oh,
this will
love
work
it.
too. Yeah, like who
Absolutely.
Isn't
does
the
that?
Phantom of the Opera about like a child
Opera?
molester who can
Opera?
sing? Isn't he kind of like
I mean,
rapey?
that's it. You
Yeah.
could probably make that argument.
He's
Freddie-
very touchy.
Freddy Cougarish.
He's always
Yeah.
like, I'm
She was pretty
behind
young,
you. You're like,
right?
I mean, there's definitely like kidnap and rapey
Yeah.
vibes, which I'm probably gonna ruin it for myself
capes.
a little bit now. There's definitely capes.
and masks. Did he have like a fucked up face? Is that why he's?
He
like-
did,
Yeah.
yeah. Burn.
How did he
It
get
was
burned?
burnt.
In a theater fire.
Gotta get burned.
A
Right?
theater
Wasn't
fire,
it a
of
theater
course.
fire? Yeah.
It was an alternate
Oh,
universe for
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Two-Face.
That's when
It
you know
was a
you're at the
theater
theater
fire.
too much when you get.
But he's a
theater
phantom. You can't really
burns.
be called
Like,
a phantom and wear a mask if you like don't have a fucked up face. Like you obviously have to have a fucked up face to be called a phantom of the
Yeah.
opera.
Yeah. Did he kill anybody? What's so fa- what is he
Yes,
so fan-
actually, he did. He killed off a bunch of the cast members.
Okay, he like lives in the attic now. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
He
he lives in the
sabotages.
basement.
It's him sabotaging us.
It's an excellent story.
Right?
Yeah,
Right,
he
something?
is sabotaging.
Like
yeah.
there's plays going on, and he's like, no.
Yeah,
basically.
because he likes to control it, and so if they don't do the casting the way
It's
he
kind of
wants,
like an
he's killing
egotistical guy,
people
like
off. Yeah.
very like I know what I'm
This
doing.
is very meta. Like
It's-
it's like a theater thing about a theater thing about them like killing people in a theater thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
he's like, I kind of want to kill you all.
And
It's
then
like
they
what the
do a
person who's writing it
then
is
they
probably
do
all
a play about it.
Yeah.
In the theater, you're like, too many layers,
like-
dude.
It's like Inception.
yeah.
There you go. It's exactly like
You're
that.
like, you guys are fucking nerds.
Yeah,
It's also a really good
it's a
story
great
now
story.
I'm thinking about of how you break the human psyche when you lock them away and have no human interaction.
It's like what's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he puts the fucking trash can on his head
Inception.
for- No, Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh,
or
dude,
whatever.
Man
Yeah.
in the Iron Mask.
Yeah.
That movie is
I don't
so
think I've
damn
ever seen
good.
that.
Yeah.
Young
Yeah.
Leo.
And that's
Yeah.
the one. Doesn't that also have the Three Musketeers in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, that
does.
was
Yeah.
dope.
Does it have like the same Three Musketeers as it does from the movie The Three Musketeers? Or
I
is
don't
it different
know.
ones?
Who's the Three
Different
Musketeers?
actors,
Leonardo,
but the
Donatello,
same,
Yeah,
it's the
Michelangelo,
same.
D'Artagnan.
They are the
Yeah.
same characters.
Oh yeah, because in that one, Jeremy Irons plays one of them, and
Yes.
Which is ironic.
Jeremy Irons is like
Yeah.
balling,
Which I've never actually read the book.
Why don't you put
I'm
Jeremy Irons
curious.
in the Iron Mask?
right? You're like, he's
Missed
slapping in
opportunity.
irons.
And Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the fucking Three Musketeers. Like, hello, who
No.
cast this movie? No, that's what. You
It
should
was
have.
at
Yeah.
the epitome.
Swap
It was like
Epstein.
at the
Right.
when he was the most
Peak Leo.
popular.
Dude,
Peak
Romeo
Leo.
and Juliet wrote
Peak Leo.
like
I mean,
Leonardo
how can you get more
DiCaprio?
Peak Leo than Titanic, though? I mean, like,
It
what's
was right around that same
So that
time.
movie-
It
It
was
was
shortly before it, right?
Early
It was-
90s,
Yeah.
right?
it was
It was-
before it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You ever seen The Island?
Oof,
Where he's
that
like,
movie's so
all high,
good.
running around like,
Yeah.
dolphins.
That movie's that's the beach.
Do you
The
guys
beach.
like
Oh, yeah,
Titanic?
the beach.
I love Titanic.
No, hate it.
Yikes.
Love
Fuck,
it.
Saw it in theaters. hated
3.5 hours
Yeah.
of
Absolutely love it.
Remember when it was
Fucking-
3 VHSs?
Yep.
And it
I
was just
do.
like a brick.
I do.
If you're not
enjoy it.
Final Fantasy,
You could rent
get
that
out
from the
my
library.
face.
Right. I remember once in the Pearl Harbor VHS switchover, I was watching that while I had the fever once and totally passed out when I went to switch them out because I'd been laying down for too long and was sick and stuff. So it was lots of fun.
I've never seen Pearl Harbor.
What?
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett?
I only watched
Who?
it once.
Josh
'cause
Hartnett.
He died, and I had too many feelings about it. I was like, I've never cried at a movie
Josh Hartnett
before.
died?
And Ben Affleck?
It made me
No,
cry.
Ben Affleck's still alive.
And I was like, I'm
He's
never
Batman.
watching this movie again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not great. I
Well,
had similar feelings about The Lion King, actually.
Did
What
you watch
I
the
knew we were
remake?
kindred spirits.
Like 10 minutes in, or like the moment Mufasa died, I was like, I hate this movie.
We'll
Yeah,
never
that
watch
was
it.
hard.
6.
You're like, I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Yeah, I
No.
Fox and the Hound, same thing. I was like,
Ooh,
had
that's
too
another
many
brutal
feels.
one. Yeah.
Never gonna watch.
How'd you feel
it
about
again.
Bambi?
Cared less.
You're racist.
I
Let's,
skipped over
yeah.
that.
Let's
part.
Sure.
let's.
You just got outed.
We gotta are you saying we're trying to rein it in?
Yeah, you just got outed.
You're racist.
Yeah, don't say race.
What movie have you ever
that what-
cried at a movie or made you want? Sorry, not like fully cried, but because I've only like halfway cried at a couple
Yeah,
movies.
I was hiding behind my parents' couch, and they were watching Species 2, and she comes out of the
That's-
cocoon, and her titties pop out.
I
and
knew
was
he
like,
was
"It's
going to talk about this
beautiful."
moment.
I meant emotion wise, not
Your
your dick so hard you can't feel anything else,
I don't think no. A movie.
or just anything.
Have you ever
that's-
cried?
Yeah, that's actually a
I
good
feel
question.
like that is probably.
I fake cried for the cops one time.
Well,
That was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
That was believable.
I'm like, oh, I'm a sociopath. Okay,
we should start.
I'm an actor. Oh, I'm fake crying.
Let's
right
start
now.
doing skits then. If you can
Yeah.
fake cry like that,
Oh
let's
yeah,
fucking go, bro.
Oh yeah, hey, got no feelings. No, movie. No, let me think. I don't know. Nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, I can't think of you like.
Definitely, there's sad movies, and I was like, it hurts somewhere inside me, but like I was never like.
It's like somewhere over here though.
Yeah.
Not here. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
somewhere
like
over
somewhere-
here. I don't know
Like
what
in
it
my
is.
kidneys,
very
maybe.
It might be in my
nondescript
stomach, and I
location.
might just be hungry.
Yeah, seriously. I'm really hoping it's a tumor and not
think of
feelings.
one.
I just
Yeah.
kind of.
Because you can cut those right out.
Yeah, you can cut those out.
I
Can't
can't
cut
think
the
of a
feelers
movie
out.
I've, like cried.
No.
Oh, I cried everything, so that's not a fair question for me.
What's the most cryy movie? Dances with Wolves.
Dude,
Dude, a
I
walk
mean,
to
Now,
remember.
like,
was
that's a
yes,
good fucking
I did
movie.
cry at that. I honestly, I
Right?
can't even
The
answer
Last
that
Mohican?
question because
remember
it
that
depends on
movie.
my emotional state at the time. Like, just about anything could make me cry.
What's the one where Mel Gibson's kids get all stabbed up? That's pretty sad, right?
Braveheart?
No, it's about America. That's pretty sad
Patriot.
too.
Yeah.
The Patriot?
Patriot.
Oh.
Isn't there like a fucked up scene in The Patriot where those
Yeah.
kids get stabbed in front of him?
I cried. Well, and they
never
kill
saw the
his
whole thing.
son. They kill his
Yeah.
oldest son, I think, and it was after they locked a bunch of people in a church and burnt it down, and his
Yeah.
son's
Fuck
like
yeah,
wife
hard
was in
shit.
that,
Yeah.
and it was a very emotional
Whoa,
scene.
Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
as shit.
Yeah, dude. Straight
Saint
black
Vincent almost
Saint
got me.
Vincent.
It's a Bill Murray movie actually, and I know that sounds cliche for someone.
No, actually,
like
there
me.
were some pretty surprising
like-
feels in that, I think.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, and like by the end of it, I was just like, just trying to hold it in.
Did you cry at Mr. McGorham's Wonder Emporium?
What?
Did that make you cry?
I think I watched that movie, but I don't remember it. So no,
I've never seen it.
that one and like
I just like the
Which
title.
one is that?
I just like using those words.
It's got
What?
Natalie Portman and whatever
say
the
her
other guy.
name correctly.
Shadley Nortzman?
Patalie Nortman.
She
Yeah.
is a
Oh, the
saint,
child
and
fucker
we
from
will-
Star Wars, you mean?
We will
Oh, yeah, I
respect
know.
her no matter what she did.
Yeah, no, hard pass.
Oh, you.
Whoa,
fucking
you don't think
asshole.
Natalie Portman's like a babe?
No, she's
What?
pretty awful, like as a human.
Oh.
Yeah, but you need to separate
Keegan's
the,
taking it too
Separate
fucking
the-
seriously.
Keegan, separate the art from the vagina.
Her art is
You
bad,
have
too.
to... Okay.
Everyone's allowed to have thoughts and feelings and opinions.
Unless they're wrong.
Black Swan.
Keegan's very picky.
Natalie Portman.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't say.
The only movie that I liked her at all in was V for Vendetta.
How did I
Never
know?
seen
I feel like it popped into my head right before it came out your mouth.
All right, fuck, marry,
Yeah.
kill. The Emperor, Samuel L. Jackson, or Snuggles the Bear. The one from Star Wars, obviously, the Emperor. You know, the Palpatine. Samuel L. Jackson and Snuggles the... It's fuck, marry, kill.
Keep in mind,
Yeah, I'm
Snuggles
gonna-
is definitely racist because if you go back and look at Snuggles commercials, I guarantee
change, though.
99%
That was
of them
90s
are all white
Snuggles.
people.
He's like, there's clearly superior races, and you can buy my laundry. So I'd be like, dude, Snuggles. Jesus Christ, dude.
Snuggles
I'm gonna
getting
have to
Are we,
pass.
canceled.
are we rolling? You're like, yeah, we're broadcasting live.
I'm really thinking about that fuck, marry, kill now. I'm like,
I was
Yeah,
too.
Samuel L. Jackson.
I'd kill Snuggles for sure.
I also would kill Snuggles.
I don't know if I would like marry Samuel L. Jackson because like
Is it
if I
Samuel
do
Jackson
that, then I
as
gotta
Mace
fuck
Windu,
Palpatine.
since you're like in the Star Wars
Yeah, but do you want to
universe,
spend
or
the
is
rest
it
of your life
just
with
Samuel
Emperor
Jackson?
Palpatine?
Yeah, I might as well just like fuck Palpatine and
Yeah,
like
you
get
can
it out
just
of the
get
way
that out
and
of the
then
way.
You're
stay
gross.
with
Who's
Samuel L.
Palpatine?
Jackson.
Which one's that?
The
That was
lightning
Emperor.
guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
George Soros.
oh
Yeah.
my god.
But like, do you want to marry?
Honestly, I feel like marriage lasts a lot longer than a single fuck.
Yeah.
So, I would choose the
I mean,
same.
you clearly fuck Snuggles. I mean, I'm just gonna like tell you right now.
Only
No,
if he
he's-
has like the
then it-
Ted effect where he
a-
smokes weed with you and
No,
stuff
it's just a
afterwards.
fucking stuffed
Terrifying.
animal. You just fuck a stuffed animal. You never fucked a stuffed animal just for fun.
No.
And then you kill Palpatine, clearly.
Yeah.
And then you marry Samuel L. Jackson.
I never did that.
I didn't realize that there was a wrong answer to this question.
like,
Now I know.
I'm projecting.
Oh, there's always a wrong answer here at the Please Stop
Yeah.
podcast.
But I was interested. Yeah, I don't know. I have Tourette's. So.
you were
Jeff.
you were interested
interested
in knowing
in-
the answer so that you could tear apart the answer.
Basically, yeah, that's basically my personality.
We probably should have warned you beforehand.
I think
Josh
I-
acts exactly like Josh during the podcast.
I think I had a feeling I knew what I was getting into to begin with.
I'm the only one that would fuck Snuggles the bear, though. Seriously?
Yeah, you
You
would.
find that surprising?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't fuck Palpatine.
Like
Why?
Lightning in your vagina?
Like
You've obviously never been to
emphasis.
prison.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's all he needs. Maybe that's all he just needs a fuck to like
That's
kind of
true.
level
Maybe that
himself
was his
out.
problem the whole time,
Yeah.
man.
I just don't want him, like, calling me after.
He won't.
You
He's
know?
not
It's
that
too
kind.
good, and he's
No.
like, what are you doing? I'm like, we're done here.
There's
I'm
one
married to
time-
Samuel L. Jackson.
He's like, I can turn on the lamp from over here. I'm like, dude, get out of my apartment.
Like we did that sort. Like it's done.
Yeah.
It's time to go, Palpatine.
I go home, and his robes are hanging up in my closet. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Samuel L. Jackson's all pissed, because whose robes are these? I'm
Palpatine,
like, hey, whoa,
the
whoa,
stage
whoa, whoa.
5 clinger.
Yeah, and then I get a divorce. I have to divorce Samuel L. Jackson because Palpatine's like out, like throwing rocks at my window and shit.
Boombox. Outside
Oh,
your
there
window.
you go.
Yeah.
He's like, I can forgive you
Chunky
fucking
sex
that
out.
racist teddy bear and then marrying a black guy, but this Palpatine guy's got to go. It's problematic. Like,
It's problematic.
Yeah.
That's the only problem
With that whole,
with that whole thing.
The whole situation.
Thanks, Keegan, for always being on my same level.
Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, I don't know if we mentioned earlier, but Aaron Carter got engaged.
And we've come full
we
circle.
bookend the fucking.
Did we finish that though? She got pregnant. He left her. She had a miscarriage,
On
and then
purpose.
now he's engaged to her.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we definitely didn't break
messy.
that
So
down.
he
Sorry,
doesn't want to
that's
be
why-
bad.
That is
But like,
messy.
yeah. So now he's got a face tattoo and some
Did
emotionally
they
broken
keep
girl.
the baby at least?
She had a miscarriage.
No, I know, but you can still keep it.
No, you can't.
No.
You're wrong. It gets flushed down the toilet when she loses it.
Oh, you can't like
No,
souvenir.
no.
Well, if they were smart, they would have kept whatever was developed and sold it to somebody for stem cells. But
Right, I was gonna say there's some wet market in China where they would like repurpose that at least. I mean, recycling's important.
Epstein's dead though, so that market's kind of like
Okay. Did you guys watch the Epstein documentary?
no.
No. Did
Segue
you watch
from
it?
eating.
When did you watch it?
No, I'm just
That was
wondering
the
if you guys
best.
have any.
Did you watch it? You fucking cunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, we're
Hey,
together.
hold on. You know
Yeah.
I have zero free time other than this. I'm just wondering if anyone else has seen it.
No.
I've already heard the synopsis.
We've
of it being
we've
just like-
heard we've heard it all.
Yeah, it
we've
was like,
seen it all.
There was no new information.
Netflix is just cashing in on information everyone already fucking knows,
Right.
and a lot of I
It was
would
very
imagine.
much the official story, the documentary.
Well, and a lot of it is what I heard from other podcast people talking about it, but it's virtually like them pointing everything at Epstein and kind of ignoring all of the
Wexner.
other. Yeah, they're ignoring all these people.
Literally Lord Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I didn't watch it.
You
I
heard
didn't-
about the interview
Just
with the
can't let
girl
it
who
go.
paints
It's
the
just gonna
picture? She's
keep-
like paints the picture of her like victims,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And that how do you say the
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine, yeah, like
Maxwell,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Ghislaine?
yeah. Hey,
That's unfortunate.
yeah,
Change
porn
it.
star.
Yeah.
Change it.
Something like
Ghislaine.
that.
Ghislaine.
dude.
Porn star for her would be the best scenario.
No, that's where that's where her house is located.
On Porn Star?
No, Ghislaine.
Oh, Ghislaine.
okay.
Ghislaine on the Porn Star.
Yeah, but this little girl like painted this picture, and this Wexner guy is like front and center. The Ghislaine Maxwell is like partially lizard in the fucking painting, and Jeffrey Epstein's off in the distance in a UFO. And I'm like, is this what's going on here? Yeah, I mean, clearly, like, what the fuck, right? But,
Yeah.
like, the fact that this Wexner guy is the most prominent thing in the painting, but then he's very much pushed to the side in the official story and in the documentary. And this is an interview with a victim being like,
A
yeah,
17-year-old
here's what
girl.
happened, and here's like the focal point of this painting of me
Yeah.
being victimized, and here's this guy that you're completely ignoring, and he's the largest thing in the painting besides me. And then the other two people who were like hyper focusing on me. Meanwhile, the guy in the center has more money than God,
Yeah.
right?
Who's this Wexner guy?
Again,
He owns.
right?
Doesn't he like
He
own
owns Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A bunch of other
Oh,
things.
filthy
So
fucking
so
rich.
Right.
creep automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you just you have to. There's no way that you can be an old
put angel wings on
racist
it.
white man and like own a.
No, no
lingerie
one said he was
store.
racist.
Yeah, not that.
I'm sure he
not
is.
That,
I mean,
You're
not
conflating.
that he
I'm-
isn't necessarily.
I get
but
it.
the
Everyone's
whole,
racist.
If you're an old white guy, you're not automatically.
Yeah, exactly.
racist.
I mean, we get it.
Like,
Everyone's racist.
I mean, you're only as racist as literally everyone is.
right.
He's a racist against all races because he fucks children.
I don't think
Whatever. Let's not defend him in any way. Just keep going.
Yeah,
Just
it's
keep.
not.
no,
It's
no.
not defending him. It's your assault on the English language. I'm defending.
Guess what? I'm never gonna
This
win
racism
that battle.
has to
Touche.
mean something. Otherwise, it means nothing. If you call everyone a racist, the word means nothing.
I don't. I'm just saying. You imagine his morals are not exactly high.
No, I'm sure they're terrible, but
Yeah.
like it's just.
Kid fuckers tend to accidentally drop the N-bomb every once in a while. It's probably not a reach.
I mean, like it wouldn't be a stretch. But
Yeah.
Just like assuming that every.
He's
white
like, I fuck
person
kids,
is
but not
racist.
black kids.
Anyone who
you
fucks
know?
a kid, I assume anything the worst about them.
Yeah.
Let's not tie
Safe
them.
assumption.
It's just
My point was just that, like, clearly there's an elephant in the room when, like, the documentary's like, so, and this guy, and anyways, and then this guy, you know, like, they're, like, almost, like,
They mentioned the Clintons at all?
very briefly and not thoroughly enough. Yeah, it
Not
was
that Bill
very,
Clinton
it
was
was very much like
registered,
hey,
what,
this
23
is a
times on
fucking
Epstein's
psyop.
plane?
This
Yeah, like
documentary
pretty
is a
much
fucking
him
psyop.
and Prince Andrew. Were
and Bill Gates.
Oh,
who
dude,
was on
Prince
it like
Andrew
6
did
times.
that shit, dude. Prince Andrew did that shit. I mean, you can go on YouTube and look at the two of them hanging out at Epstein's fucking apartment, the door opening, young women walking in, Prince Andrew and him, and the door shutting. There's multiple shots of it. It's like not a secret. Like they hung out together, they fucked girls. These girls were not 18. Case
I just think
closed.
like the massage part in that one Jeffrey Epstein one that we did watch, the documentary.
Yeah.
Like the massage, like he would like ask girls that came to his house, like, "Hey, do you have any high school friends that want to make like $500?"
Yeah.
And then they just like come
Oh,
over.
for sure
and,
he's a
like,
creep. I'm just saying there's
Yeah.
there's a network that didn't get exposed
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah,
of the
no.
way this went
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
like
the
pretty good
Netflix is
grooming
very much,
tactics.
cover up.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he was a lone wolf. This is a one-off thing. He's clearly not supported. Like, he had an island. You think he just
Yeah.
went and hung out alone on a fucking island?
Yeah.
Who's the boat driver? Who's the fucking helicopter driver? Who's delivering the loot?
Definitely.
Why is there a
doesn't
dump
have
truck
any
here?
sort of,
I'm sorry.
ties
I'm
to-
still stuck on. It's a one-off thing, but like there are plenty of people in prison that also got convicted for one-off things that involve illegal
Yeah.
activity.
Well, the documentary's making it sound like he was doing everything, and then that we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got
It's
him.
over.
It's over. The whole network is, like, there isn't a network.
It was-
It's like,
well, no, it was
there's
a part-
clearly other.
network.
Who's flying the fucking plane full of children? You know what I mean? There's people that
Loose
are
ends
seeing
to tie
things.
up here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Ghislaine is the one that would she would find these girls, and they were she was the
How
one
was
that
she
was
not in
that,
fucking
that
jail?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it was
Definitely
a part of
knows
when they
something, at
closed
least.
the case when they came with their final verdict. It literally got it in the shit. It means everyone else involved is now expunged of anything
Right.
because we got Epstein.
We got him.
We got him. We got the guy.
Yeah.
Not
and
the
he's
other
dead, so we can't punish him.
that
And
we
also
killed.
strangled him.
Yeah, fucking
And the
insane.
cameras didn't work, and like the most top. I mean, they put El Chapo in that same prison. It's the most secure, the safest, the most redundantly set up. I mean, you would probably look at this place and be like, "Oh my god, it's immaculate." Like, I don't know if you're a prison expert, but like redundant camera systems and the most high-paid guards. It's in downtown New York. They only put high-profile people there, and like the one time shit malfunctions, it's this guy. Like,
Yep.
come on.
Both
People that
guards
aren't even
asleep.
into conspiracy theories. Like my grandma's like, "Oh yeah, he got murdered."
Seriously though, it's so
yeah.
blatantly obvious. It's disgusting.
Actually, honestly, I don't think I know a single person who thinks that
I do-
Epstein killed himself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Do
think
you
I've,
think
I don't
Epstein
think
killed
I've met
himself?
anybody. Like,
Right, and you seem like
like,
you're a librarian.
it's
right?
like most people
literally
are like-
on paper, you're like the most like vanilla person. You're like, I don't. I mean, is the Earth flat?
No.
Okay.
Thank
Did
God.
Epstein kill himself?
No.
Okay, bingo. My point exactly. You know? Like, she doesn't believe any other conspiracy theory.
Yeah. That's actually a very. You believe flat Earth? No. Epstein kill himself? No.
Okay, boom. There's literally
You're
opposite ends
a
of the
logical human being then.
Yeah.
Case
Welcome.
closed.
Do you think space is real?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we won't talk.
Well, we won't go there.
Just kidding. I'm pretty sure actually they shot Ghislaine or Ghislaine.
I don't like that name. Like I feel
Yeah.
like it's like a joke that I'm
I
missing.
feel like
on
I need to
somewhere.
look it up
Yeah.
just to make sure that
I'm
that's
sure we're
actually
butchering
her
the
Is it spelled?
pronunciation.
with
It
a
feels
G?
like an inside joke.
It's Isn't it Italian? You should like know how to.
I'm not there yet. I haven't got to that. I'm
Ghislaine?
only on plurals.
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
How- spell it?
GHIS.
Is there like a Google pronunciation?
Yeah, find the little speaker.
Google pronounce me Ghislaine or something like that.
Does Wikipedia
I mean,
do
it's
that?
still just, it's too close. It's
Yeah.
close. No matter how you
It's
spin
just
it,
Italian
it's close
for
enough.
Ghislaine. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same shit.
It's like when fucking Kennedy got shot. Immediately after, CIA is like, oh, all the people that don't think this is real are conspiracy. They had a name for the people who didn't believe the
shit.
narrative.
Okay, so Ghislaine in French, it's a French word, Old French. The meaning is pledge or hostage. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Is that even her real name? Like, Jesus Christ.
What?
Feels a little bit.
Yeah.
On the nose?
Is this a
That's pretty
movie?
crazy.
Like-
Actually, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
something new to me.
Also, where is she?
Ghislaine. Ghislaine.
Yeah, I think it is Ghislaine
how
as
you
well.
say it.
Ghislaine.
But I mean,
Okay, that's
Ghislaine is very.
Ghislaine's way better.
Ghislaine.
it's
Ghislaine Maxwell. Like.
just lying.
Yeah.
So did she? Is it like a Hillary Clinton thing where she also had sex with the
Ghislaine.
girls?
Ghislaine.
Because like there's lots of stuff about Hillary Clinton being a lesbian.
Really?
Eh.
Hence why she stayed with Bill.
I mean,
That's
I
kinda
would
dope.
feel like she was probably straight before the Monica thing happened, and
then she's
then the
like, "Fuck
Monica
you,
thing,
Bill."
just like imagine having to go through that shit like in the public eye though, and like stand next to him and just be like,
well, she was already fully aware of everything.
Yeah. She's
beforehand,
like, Bill, can you
Yeah.
not do the
She's
State of
also
the
a
Union?
I'm
demon.
not-
They've been
so,
like covering up his sexual exploits since he was the governor of
that-
Arkansas.
So
That-
is the
Oh,
And
like
she
when-
was fully involved in all of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when he was involved in Iran-Contra because they were going and dropping coke in Mena, Arkansas, where he was the governor. Are you talking about that?
No, it was just like all the like women he was abusing while he was governor.
Or not Gulf of Tonkinson, I mean in the Iran-Contra. Sorry.
I thought that was.
Yeah. So was the issue that Hillary Clinton is potentially a lesbian, or that she's a child?
child
He's like a
molester, not
pedophile.
lesbian, but like
Okay.
a pedophile. Like
I
was
think she's
like,
an
those are not-
I think
No,
she's
no,
an
no.
asexual pantsuit with like eyeballs.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, like her,
Sounds like a
whatever
spider.
is kind of irrelevant. It's just that
Thank
she's an enabler of somebody who is
yeah,
abuser.
well, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not
Fair.
that she's. It's the fact
not
that
just
it's
an
not
enabler,
open.
but also
she's,
covers his
it's,
tracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Like,
that's
To
what
because-
protect the
yes.
image of
I'm
the
not saying.
family,
I'm not saying being a
Clinton
lesbian is
Foundation.
bad. I'm saying that the
Yeah.
fact that
You
it's
said that
not-
when we weren't recording, though.
Did I? Oh, gay people obviously are going to hell. So I don't know what. I don't know.
Disco hell.
I don't know if
No,
you.
sorry. It wasn't a critique. I was like, I'm just confused about where this goes.
We are not smart.
Yeah. Again, if you're coming here for political advice, you're fucking stupid.
I would never come to you for political advice.
God.
Good.
I don't want anyone to listen to what I say. Like I don't. I talk, but that doesn't mean anyone has to listen.
It's actually like pretty amazing how well you and Josh do get along for like how very different some of your beliefs are.
You can't put me in a category.
Eh,
I'm pretty
no.
apolitical. When it
I
comes
think the easiest part is just that you love Josh, I love you, so therefore I had to make an effort, and it turns out that like it's easy. You're pretty easy to love, and you took care of me when my dog died, so that would pretty much seal it.
It's the old
for me.
Josh effect. No one liked Josh before we
Yeah,
met him.
I cried pretty hard, and he
Yeah, and I was
held
like, the
me
free
and let
market
me
will
cry.
solve this. And you're like, no, it won't.
That's exactly how it went. And then I was like, I guess I'll just love you for forever now.
Like, what? Single payer healthcare is just never gonna work. And you're like, my dog.
Yeah, it was a really touching moment. Should we relive it for you?
The rich already paid too much taxes. What are you talking about? Like,
It was already
37%'s ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm pretty
solid
sure.
synopsis already.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like there are plenty of things that we probably do see eye to
Oh
eye
yeah,
on.
I'm a closet like libertarian, really. Like, I'm like a... What's your analogy for libertarianism? I love it.
Anarchists in suits.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think we have some similar
Yeah, fuck yeah.
vibes in that way. I don't know we'd go about things the same way to get, but I think we want similar outcomes for a lot of things.
That's fine.
That's a good point, because that's a big thing that's
Gay
going on in
dudes
the
growing
world.
weeds
There's a
with
lot of
guns,
people
bro.
who have different opinions, but really, in the end, everyone's
want the
opinion
same
is going to
goal.
merge. Like, it's...
We want the same
yeah.
goals, but we have different ideas
Ways of
about how to
getting there.
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it creates a lot of conflict.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Lots of conflict.
Lots of conflict.
There's a
it's
lot
fine.
of that going around right now. Conflicts.
What do you mean?
Nope.
No,
We did that last episode by ourselves. See?
Yeah, but we were serious about it. There was
I know,
very
that's
many
the point.
jokes.
We
It was
need to
a
leave it at that.
Disclaimer episode.
I mean, well, it's a hard. There's a lot of hard.
Well, because the
things to
previous
dig
episode
in.
we were like riffing on the riots essentially, and then we're like, "Hey, so that was all comedy, just so you know."
Here's how
And
we
did
really
a very
feel.
we did a serious one.
I think we did a
Yeah.
good job.
That was a good podcast.
I re-listened to most of it. Like, I think we did pretty good. To toot my own horn or say that we solved the world's social issues, but
It's all
Toot,
over
toot,
now. Please
because
stop
you just
podcast
did.
to solve
I know.
the
Yeah.
problem.
I'll
we're
listen
just-
to it and judge super
we're
hard.
fucking asshole. We're an asshole.
actually,
You're gonna come back. I'm also for sure doing a deep dive on the Hill of Beans issue because now I have a burning desire
She's
to
gonna like call
to,
into
like,
the podcast
know
and be like,
the
I was gonna say,
answer.
yeah, it's like a depression era thing. Like, if you didn't have,
It's-
if money was devalued, like, what would be valuable, right?
This is
Yeah.
well, but the
Feeding kids with beans.
well,
You got shitty
nobody
things.
wants to listen to this argument, but this is the kind of shit that keeps me up at night. I'm like, I just need to know the answer.
Right.
You know, it's not.
Oh yeah, no, like I have that same sort of thing and everything, like turns of phrase and expressions and where they come from.
And I'm like, but I need to know
It's
so
the
that I can
strive to be right.
randomly.
Right.
It's
You're
the
like, well,
strive
actually-
to be right.
That is
So you can be
pretty
that
important to me.
super fucking
And it
annoying
really
person
is,
at
and
the end of
that's-
Casablanca.
It's not even like a negative thing. Like, that's literally,
Like, I need to
you
know.
want to be right.
I do. I want to be right. I need to be right. I need to be right, and I need to know
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah.
About the beans.
Yeah.
Also, I'm like really into bean knowledge, so I mean, like that's
Yeah.
always good. I mean, like ever since
A
like, Hot
legume
Rod-
knowledge
Hot Rod, when they talk about cool
connoisseur.
beans, like, I've
Beanographer.
been like all about
Cool beans.
legumes.
Legumetry.
Cool fucking beans.
Coffee.
Beanography.
I mean, it's like hot bean water. I mean, which is I'm a pretty big fan of that. So like beans are pretty
big
important. To me,
deal.
so
We'll find the answers.
they're
Is
out
that
there.
fiddlehead or whatever that I ate last night? Is that considered a bean?
That's a slur.
That literally sounds like a
It
racist.
does. It
Hey, it's not
actually does.
Vietnam anymore, Janelle.
It
Chill
does
out with the
sound
But
like
yeah,
a
it'd probably be
slur.
a slur for like some type of white people who
Yeah.
make violins or something like that. So
Right.
it's
A
totally
fiddlehead?
acceptable.
As my mom would
was
say,
thinking,
it
like,
sounds like
Vietnamese
you're
person.
making a cuss.
You're
Making
You're
a
cuss.
making a cuss.
Like I don't know. I
Big
think,
bowl
like,
of fucks,
the-
and you're just stirring it.
the Germans who make violins and like like that's basically a fiddle. fiddlehead,
Whoa, man!
like
I
you're-
just did some fiddlehead research.
Mhm.
Fiddleheads or fiddlehead greens are the furled fronds of a young fern.
Ooh, that sentence
Why
sucks.
are
Dude,
we
no, I
putting
am a-
so many?
Sucks.
I'm a big fan of
Furled
all of that.
fronds of a young
It's a frilled fur
fern.
of a fucking fuck yourself. How about that? How about fuck yourself?
We've learned that Josh doesn't like alliteration.
Yeah.
I'm a
Left
pretty
on
big
the
hate it.
plant, each
It's lazy
fiddlehead would
songwriting.
unroll
You
into
literally-
a new frond.
You just told us that it's literally to trick people into thinking something's interesting. So now it's like rap music.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
It
Yeah,
ca-
later.
well, because it's catchy.
I
It
only like
sticks.
direct rhymes, no
Yeah.
slant rhymes,
Yeah.
no
Nothing.
no other alliterative or literary devices.
I fucked a
like-
furry pheasant Friday morning, but yeah, no.
Well, because it sticks in your head, does it?
It does,
not?
yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
Well, there
shit!
you go.
Fiddleheads are $10 to $15 a pound.
Whoa,
Right.
dude. We
Holy-
should start selling fiddleheads, I
Fuck.
guess.
Seriously.
That's crazy. But
You
a
can-
pound of fiddleheads?
You can
like,
definitely smoke that shit if it's that expensive.
No.
I like that's where we jump to.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that's like got street
Yeah, I don't
value.
think so.
I know
mean, I
nothing
guess.
about street value or street cred.
Yes, you do.
I have none.
So you could be getting knowledge from your clients there.
Your
Oh,
clients.
they're
Clients.
they're regularly trying to drop knowledge on me.
Are they?
Yeah, it's like, see, this is what you got to understand. I'm like, I got to understand nothing except that you need to be following the rules and maybe back up a bit.
You stuck your dick in somebody without asking. I don't need to understand shit you said.
I need literally nothing that you have to offer me. So
Hey, I'm not going to take any advice from you.
I was like, I'm sitting here and I get to leave at the end of the day.
I get to go to my home.
Yeah, it's a me. Sorry, I don't actually feel that way. I actually have a lot of compassion and pride
You've shown
for what
that.
I do.
You have shown that. Not a
So-
joke. That was real.
Yeah,
you
you're
have
clearly
shown
a
that you
better person.
actually care about these people and
Tally's
know
a- Tally's
that they
a
are
literal
human
angel,
beings because a
so-
lot of them don't necessarily belong there. Some of them probably belong there.
Yeah.
Also probably deserve to be dead. That's my own opinion.
That is your opinion.
That's my own opinion.
There's a lot of people that have that. I think that it's helpful being in a place where they're trying to change the system for positive, and they're really striving towards lowering recidivism and giving skills and tools to do better. And
That's important in
Yeah.
prison.
it's hard. And and I think there's a lot of people in the world that go through the world thinking that you're so much better than these people. And a lot of people have safety nets that these guys didn't have. They have money to pay for bail or a lawyer or any of these things that could have potentially kept them out. Not that I think that, there are people that deserve to be there and they should be there forever. And the system is not, it's not all bad. But I mean, that doesn't mean that you should constantly be striving to do better and be
Yes.
better. And it has been interesting seeing the guys that they really do. Like, they really fucked up, and they fucked up other people's lives, and they fucked up their lives, and they're taking the time in there seriously. Like, they're working to change behaviors and, like, do their best with what they have in there. And it's really positive. Like, it gives me a positive feeling when you have those interactions. And even, like, I've been there for not that long, like maybe 6 months, and there are a couple guys that I've even seen just in that 6 months a complete change in behavior. Like, there was one guy that I used to dread having him come into the library. I was just like, God damn it, he's on my call outs again. Like, I just really don't want him up here. And I hated it. And then I didn't have to see him for a little bit while the quarantine stuff was happening, because we had really minimal amounts of scheduling that was going on. And he came back just, like, so polite, happy as a stinking clam, and everything is thank you this, thank you that, like, may I, like, all of a sudden we got manners. We're not demanding things. Like, we're having actual constructive conversations, which is also kind of a contentious thing. Like, working in that environment, everybody's like, you don't have to listen to them. Like, you should be laying down the law. And I was like, well, they're
Like, shut up, cops.
They're humans with they're humans with feelings.
Don't talk to
and
cattle.
if I'm going to, like, come to a solution, like, there's a little bit of listening that is involved in that. Or, sometimes they just need to spin out and, like, they lose their cool for a little bit. And I was like, okay, we're done. And, like, that's not going to happen again. Like, that was your one time. I hope you got it off of your chest. I'm trying to help you, so we'll either find a solution if this behavior
you'll get tased.
Yeah, it's like, you continue this behavior, like, cool, there'll be consequences. Like, I'm here to have a reasonable conversation with you. I'm not trying to keep you from anything. So it's wild. And, like, some days I feel really good about those conversations, or there are other days I want to punish someone. I'm like, but you know what? He kind of had to spin out. Like, they have nothing.
Yeah.
That they're in control of. So you can't really fault them for being humans and having those moments of freak out.
So I'd say you're for non-violent drug offenders to be let out of prison. Not for wholly, but, like, in a general sense.
I mean, we had this conversation this afternoon, and you're not solving anything. There are people out there, I think, that, yeah, they deserve it. But, the non-violent and, like, the minimal stuff, like, I'm sorry, you're dealing with weed. Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
There are people that are out there dealing meth and, like, all kinds of things.
Stuff that actually kills somebody.
It's killing people.
Yeah.
it's causing an actual crisis, and they're like part of a bigger system that is hurting people, and then you're busting into people's homes and charging them with felonies and stuff like that. Like, you aren't actually working towards a goal of solving a bigger issue. You are squashing people who are already struggling to survive most of the time, because a lot of the times the people that are being punished for those crimes are socioeconomically disadvantaged already. And our system is not designed in general to help. Like, it is not focused towards rehabilitation for those lesser crimes. You get charged for everything. Jail is like, you pay for everything in prison. I think jail is even harder to regulate than like state and federal prisons. And I mean, you don't have money, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
And it's insane. Like, there are people that are coming in, serving their time, trying to do better, and they're coming out with tons of debt. So it's like a college system and like the institution of like our justice system, the penitentiaries and all those things. You have two people that are going in at the same time. They're going to come out with a huge mountain of debt, but who's going to, they're both starting at a disadvantage, but one slightly above the other. It's all a mess. Like, the way that we're doing everything, like the money that is going to feeding into the system to continue to punish people for being poor and for things that just, it isn't, it's not helping keep the horrible pedophiles off the street that need to be. The people with money that are able to protect themselves are always going to be able to protect themselves in the system that we have now, and the people that are going to get punished are the peons at the bottom. It's keeping it's going to keep the disadvantaged and continue to create this gap. And I just don't understand why we're not funding social programs and education programs that could try to solve some of these issues before they end up, before you end up in the system, before you end up in prison, before, like, it's really, really hard to change behaviors as an adult. Once you have those behaviors and things set, like, that's not the time to be trying to make those change and like creating those positive social experiences. Like, that needs to be happening before we get there. And there are signs, like there's tons of studies that have gone into creating systems to try to keep that from happening. It's
the short answer is for-profit prisons. Yeah,
it's crazy. And I have really conflicting feelings about how all of that works. I mean, there are, like, prisons are profiting off of the labor of the men and women that are inside. And I can see both sides of the argument of, like, it's giving them something instructive to do. They're coming, some of them are coming out licensed.
Have them clean the ocean.
For programs, for programs, like, you're giving them skills. It's positive. So it's enforcing positive social behaviors. Like, there's an exchange going on, but it's still the work that you're doing. You are not being equally compensated for it, and
or even remotely close to
equally compensated, and the
literal slavery.
Yeah, you are. The institution is profiting more than the individual doing the work. Weird. Does that system sound familiar to like
everyone?
Like everyone? Yeah. But. Yeah. Anyways, there we go. I was like really good soapbox.
That was awesome.
Those are my feelings.
That was great.
What are you gonna say, babe?
That was fucking great.
I just feel like clams probably suffer from seasonal depression, and we should stop using the term "happy as a clam" because it's damaging to them.
Noted.
I actually got caught up for a moment on the happy as a clam thing too.
Yeah.
I was
I know.
You're all welcome.
Like, how happy is a clam?
Yeah.
Like, that was like.
I think, yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't. I was listening to you.
Like, they're underground.
I did.
They're
No, I was
underground.
fully listening also,
Thanks,
but
Dylan.
also thinking about clams,
That's
like,
okay,
in the
because I did it to
background
you
process.
guys a couple
I got
times
you.
tonight too, where I really got stuck
asked
on
the
something, had to circle
important
back. I get
questions.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyways, so
But
don't make that molehill a mountain of beans.
Yeah, dude.
that's one that you just.
Yeah.
This is quite the mashup.
Okay, got there.
Good job.
You got anything else?
No.
We'll end it on that good note. like that.
Intelligent note.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, guys. This was fun.
Yeah.
The
I wish you
smartest
lived,
person
like-
that's ever been in here.
Seriously, like you just might be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, you said the word modicum, and
That's never been said in this room.
don't
yeah,
know what
never,
that means.
Ever.
See,
Dylan's
Yeah.
like, "Boop."
Probably
Yeah.
just blanked it out because I was like,
it's one of those things. It's the glasses with only one side.
that's
a
not what
monocle.
it is.
That's
That's
a
a
monocle,
monocle.
I know. I'm playing the part of the town idiot. It's fun.
You're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
It comes natural.
I'm an actor.
I am an actor.
that was great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You want to watch the rest of UFC?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to watch the rest of
Eat some
UFC.
dinner.
Thank you for listening. This was another Please Stop podcast.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.